what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make.
Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave.
Bright light behind me.
Story that makes everyone cry. Laugh, cry,
Hey, Jody.
cry.
My words.
Here at Once Upon a Farm, we choose the new capital that tracks business card. With no presets, benefit or purchasing power adapts to your business needs. With unlimited double mile, we are here too. What's in your wallet?
You missed your remote. Is this muted?
How you doing, sir?
Hello, my friend. How are you doing?
Good, dude.
Good
What
job.
are you up to today?
You see it?
I see it.
Yeah.
Okay. Where you from? The area here? Or?
I'm from the 70s.
What's that?
I'm from the 70s.
The 70s? Like
Yeah.
the year?
Yeah.
Okay.
From the era.
From the era? Yeah. All right. But now, are you from Clearwater at all? Like, are you familiar with
I'd rather not answer any questions like that or anything.
Okay, well, and here's the reason I'm asking is because there is an ordinance against panhandling. And so if you told me, hey, I'm not from here, I'm new to the area, and you had no idea about it, then, you know, it'd be one thing. But if you're like, yeah, I've lived here my whole life.
So there can't be an ordinance against panhandling because it's free speech.
What's that?
Panhandling is free speech, so there's no way there could be an ordinance.
There is. There is.
I mean,
So-
it'd be like aggressive panhandling and stuff like that.
What's that?
Aggressive panhandling would be illegal.
Why would that be any different? If free speech is free speech, whether it's aggressive or not,
Well,
you
because
fall
that-
into the same boat, right?
That would entail continuing to go after somebody and harassing them and trying to force them into it. But just asking somebody, say, hey, can you give me a hand?
Right.
That's free speech.
Okay. When you have a sign, it's no longer free speech. If you're interrupting people in their day, it's no longer free speech. You're also on private property.
This is city property.
It is, but if you don't have actual legitimate business here, then you can be trespassed from the property. So we've been doing
Nobody
this
said
for a
anything about
long, long
trespassing.
time. What's that?
Nobody said anything about trespassing.
Well, the reason we're here is because they don't want you here. So that's what I'm saying. It's basically, we wouldn't be here bothering you or anything like that if somebody hadn't called and there was some sort of an issue. So that's all it is. Like I said, if you want to hold your sign and walk down the sidewalk and go about your business and see strangers as it is and ask for help, that's totally fine. You can't stop any traffic. You can't be in the roadway.
Well, I'm just soliciting. That's all I'm doing.
And there are ordinance against soliciting in the, like, you can't solicit, like door-to-door salesmen soliciting. You cannot do that without a permit here in the city of Clearwater.
Well, again,
You can't. Or you can be cited. You can be cited. So, I mean, it's up to you. Like, we could go round and round. Like, this is a tried and true ordinance. It's been on the books for many, many years. We've cited many, many people for it over the years, and it's held up in court. It's been appealed and held up.
Probably
So,
not.
what's that?
probably.
No, it has. I know for a fact because I've done it myself.
So, Officer Moria?
Corporal Moria.
Corporal
Officer Rios?
Rios?
Rios, yes,
Okay.
sir.
Are your body cams going?
Of course.
Okay. Well, unless I'm being trespassed, you stay right here.
Yeah, no, you are being asked to leave. So if you refuse to leave, then you will be issued a trespass warrant.
And then,
And then if you don't leave after that, you'll be arrested.
all right, I'll take the trespass one.
Okay.
I mean, if this is ridiculous, you guys have no authority to do this. This is city property, and I'm peacefully assembling. So before you do it, check with the city attorney, check with the mayor, call your supervisor,
What do you think called us out here?
And ask them about it before you trespass me from this property. Because I'm putting you on notice right now. Pay attention. I'm putting you on notice. I'm engaged in constitutionally protected activity safeguarded by the First Amendment. Trespassing me would be a violation of my civil rights.
So no.
Think about
You're
it
not
before
here
you do it.
for. You're not. I don't have to think about it. I've done this before. It's not a big deal to me, man. I'm just trying. I'm literally. I'm trying to be as cool as possible with you and give you the options. If you want to push your hand out, it's totally fine by me. It's no skin off my back. All right. I get paid by the hour. So it is what it is. So
Good
you're saying
attitude.
You're not leaving when I'm asking you to leave.
If you, no, I'm
Do
saying.
you have any, let me ask you this. Do you have any legitimate business here at the Municipal Services Building
I'm here to peacefully assemble.
about
I'm not
what?
loitering.
Okay, you're panhandling. That is not peaceful assembly.
Who said I was standing?
You have a sign.
Yeah, it says
God bless the homeless vets. Okay. All right. Have you asked anybody for money?
I'm not answering questions like that, but I am soliciting.
Soliciting what?
Soliciting.
What's that?
I am soliciting. What? It's none of your business.
Okay, you can't be soliciting if you're not soliciting something.
Yeah, I'm not convinced it's any of your business.
Okay.
It's not
Well,
convinced it's any of
Jeff.
your business, but I'm soliciting.
Well, hang tight for just 1 second, all right?
And to be clear, if you trespass me, I'll leave under a trespass. Just asking me to leave, I'd rather not, but if you're trespassing me, I'll leave.
All right, I'll get you a final answer on that.
All right.
Other than
Dex,
this, how's your
welcome.
day going so far?
Forget it.
Not
Beautiful
bad.
out, isn't it?
Not bad. Yeah, it really is. It's not too hot, not too humid.
I mean, I don't want to go to jail.
Oh, yeah.
No, of course.
I just want to come out and do what I'm doing for about 30,
Welcome to the
45
stream,
minutes.
Dex. You
And
know,
be on my way.
I'm very curious. You, of course, you don't have to answer anything you don't want to answer.
Right.
That's recording, isn't it?
What?
Your phone?
Yeah.
It is. I figured. Are you one of those people that put that stuff up on their page and stuff like that? Like
I
test
am,
out the cops?
I am a civil rights investigator.
I figured as much. I figured.
So that's why I'm trying to let him know, before you do anything, before
Mm-hmm.
you trespass me off of public property, check with the city attorney, check with the mayor, make sure
Mm-hmm.
you're got everything figured out before you do it. That's all.
Dex. Yeah, check
cool.
your points. Everybody, we reset on Friday.
How you doing, sir?
So no one's really got much of a head start unless you didn't, you ones that joined me in the stream.
How many
I'm
followers you
2
got?
subs away from
I'm assuming you're on like TikTok,
500.
YouTube, all that good stuff.
220.
1,000? Nice. He's a civil rights. Freedom of first. Yeah.
Civil rights investigator.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So here's the deal. What their main concern was not the fact that you were here, but they said you were screaming at some of the people coming in and out.
That's hearsay.
Okay. This whole place is on video and audio recording at all times. So I mean, if I have to dig it up, I can. They're just saying that was their only concern. They prefer you not yell at patrons coming here to do their business. But if you want to stand out here, if you want to talk about the Lord and veterans and whatever you want, knock yourself out. They just ask to please not scream or yell at people. Fair enough?
Yeah. I'm not screaming or yelling at anybody anyway. I'm just saying God bless you.
Again, I'm not here.
Yeah,
All I can
yeah,
do
he
is
was muted. The one that's
call
talking to him
and
forgot to unmute it after he was inside.
Interfere with anybody or scream or yell at anybody.
Okay.
God bless you. God bless you.
All right. Perfect. You enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, you too. Yeah, stay safe.
All right, sir. Recording.
Thank you.
You as
too.
well.
Why wouldn't it let me give him? Oh, it wouldn't let me give it to you. It says it failed to do it. That's weird. I wonder why it's not letting us give. We'll check that out because it was working yesterday or day before yesterday. But it ain't gonna let you. You only got 400 LVA.
Welcome back to the Johnny 50 channel. When I first started my channel back in 2017, I saw a series of videos from the animal rights group SHARK, which stands for Showing Animals Respect and Kindness. There was a particular encounter that was incredibly enraging, dating all the way back from 2016. Steve Hindy is the president of SHARK, and I'm going to post a series of videos where he's narrating and also included. Here's an update. The people at SHARK won $100,000
Sorry, LVA.
just recently, $50,000 from the New York State Police and $50,000 from the Wayne County Sheriff's Department for this illegal arrest. They're being arrested right here, passengers in a vehicle in New York State, for not IDing. Quick backstory, the shark team emerged on Marshall Farm, a breeding facility for beagles, ferrets, and other animals to be used in research. Needless to say, the conditions are abysmal and cruel. Animal rights organizations like Shark often play an essential role in advocating.
Oh, it wouldn't let
for
me
the
because I didn't have that much to
humane
give you.
treatment of
I
animals
tried
in
to give you
exposing situations
10,000.
of cruelty. Their work
Here, let
can
me give you a little
sometimes
bit.
lead to confrontations and legal battles with
let
authorities
me.
and businesses
I may have to
that
wait
have
till
a
the.
vested interest in maintaining the status quo. Here they are getting pulled over for no traffic reason other than that they've got a complaint. All they're looking to do, these police are in the pockets of the business of Marshall Farms,
Maybe I'm
and they are
cooled out.
just looking to ID and identify who all of these perpetrators are. This is so disturbing on
space.
so many levels.
There
If
we
this
do.
isn't the secret
Successfully.
police, I
I didn't have enough to give.
what
I tried to
would
give you
define
10,000. I
that.
forgot we reset.
Also, when Steve
me
Hindi
go grab a
talks
cup of coffee.
in
I'll be right
some
back.
of the subsequent videos here when they're flying the drone,
Johnny's
he says
gonna talk for a minute.
He's talking to the security of Marshall Farms. It says that interfering with or damaging, destroying a drone while operating is a federal offense. A lot of people laugh when they hear this. The FAA does not mess around when it comes to aircraft, and drones, yes, drones are considered aircraft with the FAA and come with stiff fines if you shoot them out of the sky or damage them otherwise in flight. There's a series of videos here. I'm going to just splice them all together. Some are only a few minutes long. This interaction is the longest one. This is absolutely enraging. Comment below. Let me know what you thought of this.
It's one of the largest dog breeders for the animal experimentation industry in the United States. 23,000 dogs held captive. Also cats, mini pigs, guinea pigs, mice, and ferrets. This is Marshall Bioresources. Breeding animals for torture in laboratory experiments around the world. Private companies that force animals to ingest chemicals like pesticides to test toxicity. Universities that sever dogs' spinal nerves, cut off their tails, and implant electrodes on their bladders. It's part of an $18 billion industry that works hard to hide its abuse from you, erasing any trace of these animals because if you know, you will care.
Now, even if you're a true psychopath and don't like dogs, this is about police overreach, so please look past this.
I gotta grab some information from you too, okay, sir? So if you have any identification on you, and that's the same case, if you choose not to identify yourself, you'll be taken into custody, taken to SP lines, we'll fingerprint and photograph you until we can ascertain who you are.
You make it sick for illegal arrest.
Well, that's fine, ma'am. That's your prerogative to do so if you wish to, but I do need your identification. So you guys choose to identify yourself? Because I need you to identify yourselves on the basis of the complaint. You're not going to identify yourself?
That's right. I'm not going to
sir,
identify myself. Hi, folks. I'm Steve Hindi for Showing Animals Respect and Kindness. Check out these officers from the New York State Police and the Wayne County Sheriff's Department. I've been dealing with animal issues for decades, and at times I've seen serious police misconduct. But the nonsense we'll show you in this video is among the most unprofessional police overreach I've experienced. Let me start from the beginning. In November 2016, a shark team legally flew one of its Angel drones to get an aerial view of Marshall Farms in North Rose, New York. Marshall Farms raises beagles, ferrets, and other animals for research. When the shark team left Marshall Farms, after committing no infraction whatsoever, a Marshall Farms security person followed us. About 10 miles down the road, we were stopped by a New York State police officer who had no legal basis for the stop, but nevertheless wanted identification. This stop lasted more than an hour, but we've condensed it down without dropping anything material, so you can see and decide about these police for yourself.
Got my vape.
Good morning, folks.
Morning.
Patrol State Police, just trying to ask some people to ask questions while you're flying a drone over their property.
Yeah.
You guys got any idea on you or anything like that?
Why am I being stopped?
You're being stopped because people identified your vehicle as flying a drone over the top of their property, and we're just trying to figure out what you guys were up to.
That's illegal?
Well, they just want to know who you were. They couldn't identify who you were. Do you guys have any identification on you?
So because they want to know who we are, you're going to tell them?
Well, I'm just going to ask you. I'm asking if you have any identification. It's
I do.
Suspicious condition. Can I see it, please?
What crime am I suspected of committing?
I'm just asking to see your identification. So I'm just trying to identify it.
I'm telling you no.
You're not going to allow me to see any identification?
Unless you demand it.
Well, I would like to see your identification, sir.
If I have to give it to you by law, I will.
Well, you do have to identify yourself if I ask you to identify yourself, sir.
Only for being suspected of a crime.
I can get a supervisor out here if that's what you like.
I wish you would, yes.
Okay. Stand by. You can continue filming if you'd like, but you need to back up for me. For safety reasons, you need to back up for me, sir.
Who are you?
I'm with the sheriff's office.
Can I see your identification, please? You're telling me this is not a safe distance?
You're standing next to a police car that's loaded with weapons.
I see.
I want you to back up, please.
Can I see that?
Simple
Thank you.
request
How far?
to your vehicle. Thank you.
Can I get your name and badge number?
Larry Linder.
Larry Linder?
Yep.
And you, officer?
James Dunlap.
James Dunlap. Thank you. So, officer, are we being detained?
Right now, there's an investigation going on.
Are we being
Actually, if you
detained?
could step back towards your car.
Okay, but could you answer me with a yes or no? Are we being detained?
Right now, there's an investigation going on.
So, may we leave?
Not right now.
So, we are being detained.
At this moment.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, hon. It's you, hon.
When you get back from my boss, and he's gonna come out here and talk to you, okay?
What am I being detained?
Well, I have to be able to identify you, sir. And according to the state law, I can detain you until I identify who you are. Okay?
No.
Okay.
No, you have no legal reason to stop us, and I think you need to present something and present it now.
Well, sir,
You're detaining U.S. citizens and
Yes, I am, sir. You're
taxpayers.
detaining you because I haven't identified you. You guys have been questioned because you're being asked because you were flying a drone over private property. Now, this vehicle
Are you
belongs
telling us
to-
that that's illegal? If we were to have
Well,
done
the
something like
people
that,
made a complaint about it. They want to know what was going on. So,
So
that's
I
why
can
I'm trying to figure out who you are.
I can
okay?
complain because I don't like the color of your shirt. That doesn't mean that
Okay,
you
sir.
get detained.
Well, unfortunately, I have the right to detain you until I can figure out who you are, okay?
I think you're wrong.
And that's what we're going to do. Well, that's
I think
fine,
you're
sir.
wrong
I'm sorry
about
if you
that.
feel that way, but that's what's happening at the moment, okay?
This is a New York State trooper telling me this, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can I have a word with your commander, please? You've detained us long enough, unlawfully, and I'm tired of it. I'm just tired of it. Let's talk to somebody. Let's talk to him now.
You're the driver, sir?
I am not.
Okay, who's driving the vehicle?
Not important.
Why did you stop us?
He stopped you.
Why have we been stopped?
Because of a suspicious condition of flying a drone over private property.
Flying a drone over private property, what does that have to do with us? Is that illegal?
Don't know yet.
You don't know.
Nope.
Well, then you are detaining us unlawfully for something you have no idea about.
It's not my case, okay?
Well, I'm asking to talk to the person whose case it is then. Let's stop screwing around.
He's on the phone with the sergeant right now, so I can't give you an answer on that one.
Look, you're unlawfully detaining us. I want either get the guy out here, arrest us, do whatever you want to do, get yourself in plenty of trouble, or let us go. I'm done with
Is
it.
that a threat?
I'm saying that I'm going to take this to your higher
Don't
ups.
threaten me, okay?
I'm promising you. I'm not threatening you. I'm promising you. I'm going to take this to your higher ups.
Okay.
So let's get this done.
I
Do what
would
you're
love
going to do.
I would love to.
Do what you're going to do.
It's not my case.
Well, get the guy whose case it is.
Okay. Well, as soon as he determines what's what, we'll figure it out.
We're not waiting all day to figure out what's going on.
I don't want to wait all day either. I'm not even supposed to be here right now. So
Then why are you here? I'm serious. Why are there, four
you don't
police
take a
cars?
drone and fly it over private property and not think that something's going to happen. Okay.
I don't think you know. I know you don't know what you're talking about. You have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't have a drone. I don't plan on buying a drone.
And which only shows again that you don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. I agree with that. Okay.
But you don't just stop people because
I didn't stop you.
You don't. Nobody stops people. No legitimate
We
police
have a
force
call.
stops people because you think that maybe something was violated. You do understand that. Come on, this is, you knew this before you ever got into basic training. What does that have to do with anything?
We have laws in New York.
About?
Probable cause, reasonable suspicion.
Of what?
Reasonable suspicion that you're violating laws, flying a drone over private property without permission. Okay?
Why don't you just call, I don't know, the local airport or something and ask them if that's an issue?
We don't have a local airport. We're not near any major city.
Oh God, this is
44 miles.
Oh God, this is going to look ridiculous on YouTube. It really is. I mean, it's going to look outrageous. And I don't like to make cops look silly. I don't. I really don't. I like to depend on cops. I have cops who are friends, and I like to believe that you guys are all the good guys. Okay? Why don't you stop doing this? All right. All right, keep it up. That's fine.
Yeah, it's awesome organization.
Okay, sir. Again, in your state, you got to prove to me that you're a licensed operator, so I'm going to ask you again for your ID, okay? If you choose not to supply me with ID, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you into custody, and I got to find a licensed driver.
Get out of my way, sir. Don't interfere with my breath.
Driver, and I got to tow the car, okay?
So this is now a traffic stop?
No, I have reasonable suspicion to pull you over because of a complaint, which is why I've stopped you.
For what crime, though?
Well, I stopped you because you were flying a drone over somebody's private property, okay?
And then
There's reasonable suspicion that you were doing that. Now that I pulled you over in a traffic stop to ascertain that, okay, you told me you were flying a drone. You're asking me if it was a crime.
First of all, nobody ever said that anybody was flying a drone.
interrupted the trooper.
Nobody said that anybody was flying a drone. I'm clearing up a lie here, officer.
If you have a driver's license on you, I can go ahead and run that license to prove that you're a licensed driver, and then I can let you go. If you refuse to give me your information, then what I have to do is take you into custody. I'll issue a ticket for operating without a license. I'll take you to SP Lyons, okay? And then we'll ascertain who you are from there. And then I'll ask your partners here if they're licensed, and if they refuse to identify themselves or they're not licensed, then they won't be able to drive the car, and then I tow the car, okay?
I understand.
Okay.
A few things. I never admitted flying a drone.
Okay.
That's not in question at this point.
That's not
And I still don't. Where's the crime?
Well, what I need
You were
to do-
stopped for a lawful order of a complaint.
A lawful order of a complaint? Good God, you don't even know the law. You don't know the law. A lawful order of a complaint?
Like I said, you're going to end up coming with me.
No, lawful order of a complaint is bullshit.
Okay.
Let's call it what it
Stop.
is.
I cannot let you go unless I can prove you're a licensed operator. And if
Why
you
was
choose
I stopped, though?
You were stopped
because
from a
of a
complaint. Absolutely.
Okay.
A
So now
complaint of what? What's the crime?
Look, we don't have to continue with this, sir. If you cannot prove your identification that you're not a legal operator, you don't have a driver's license to operate a motor vehicle, you will be taken into custody. If these guys want to show a license, absolutely. If you want to show a license, absolutely. You can be on your way. If you do not want to show any form of ID, you will be taken into custody. If they don't show any license, the vehicle will be towed.
Why can't you tell me what the crime is?
Nice roll on
There
it,
is no
Dr.
crime,
Knight.
sir.
Sir, there's not a crime to stop you. You have to identify yourself.
A
okay?
crime is a...
Right now, what we're looking at is you refuse to identify yourself. I can arrest you for obstruction of governmental administration,
Absolutely.
obstructing me from doing my job.
We have another sheriff's
That would be a
car. Get that one,
Okay?
Jan.
But so if you don't, are you going to identify yourself for me? I need to see your license.
I will.
Your license driver.
But
Okay.
I still don't hear the crime.
Okay. Sir.
I don't understand why I was stopped.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to tell you for the last time. Okay, you were stopped because of a complaint. People saw this vehicle, the drone being operated. This vehicle left. You videotaped another individual coming down south. Stop, I'm not done. When I'm finished, I'll give you a chance to talk, okay? Then I stopped your vehicle, okay? You refuse to identify yourself, okay? I'm asking you for information to prove that you're a licensed driver.
You block traffic and I'll make the arrest.
If you choose not,
Oh,
if you choose not
God.
to identify that,
What a
what's going to happen
moron.
is I'm going to detain you to figure out who you are. Then I'm going to charge you for obstructing governmental administration, okay? Do you have a driver's license and registration for the vehicle? Can I see that information, please,
The
sir?
complaint, there is no crime.
Sir, do you have a driver's license and registration for the vehicle? Can I see that, please?
You need the registration.
I do, sir.
This is a traffic stop.
Yes, sir. Is it a registered vehicle? I have to prove it's a registered vehicle. If you have the registration, I need to see that as well.
I don't agree with you. You can't tell me what crime I committed.
Sir, I need
Or
to see the
suspected of.
registration. Can I see your license and your registration? Thank you, sir.
Registration's in the level.
Okay. Any issues with your license, sir? Are you a licensed operator?
I am.
Okay. Sir, do you have any warrants or any kind of information you wanted by the law at any point?
Oh, for Christ's sakes.
You not? Okay.
Officer I was trying to get was your name tag. I already got it.
Thank you, sir.
Eddie's.
Thank you, sir.
Eddie's.
Oh, I'm gonna go back to all this
Eddie's.
information. If everything comes
Relax.
back on the site, you'll be
You could have
free to
asked
go,
me. I
okay?
would have told you.
Relax.
All good, bud?
I gotta grab some information from you too, okay, sir? So if you have any identification on you, and it's the same case, if you choose not to identify yourself, you'll be taken into custody, taken to SB lines, roll fingerprint, and photograph you until we can ascertain who you are.
Then you get sick of illegal arrest.
Well, that's fine, ma'am. That's your prerogative to do so if you wish to, but I do need your identification. So you guys choose to identify yourself? Because I need you to identify yourselves on the basis of the complaint. You're not going to identify yourself?
That's right. I'm not going to
Okay, sir, I need
identify
you to put the
myself.
camera down. I'm going to take you into custody right now.
There you go.
Ma'am, are you going to identify yourself?
Put the camera down.
Ma'am, are you going to identify yourself?
Camera down. Camera down.
Hold on, I haven't answered the question
you're
yet.
being under arrest.
I haven't answered the
Ma'am,
question
are you
yet.
going to
lady.
identify
Are you
yourself?
gonna give your license? Yes or no?
Honey, should I get my
Come on,
license?
sir.
Yes or no? Right now. Okay. Nope.
Your name
choice.
is-
Listen, do you want to get arrested for a car?
Oh, God.
Hold the camera. Don't pull away.
Ridiculous.
All right, so we've just
Yeah, I
been
know.
released from custody. I mean, no charges because we didn't do anything. I mean, there's that. This is what, and this is New York State. So this is New York State today. The police can come and stop you because some random clowns are sitting there crying about something that's not illegal. And if the police are in their pocket, then they can stop you, detain you, arrest you, handcuff you, and haul you off to the police station. You know, oftentimes we try to cooperate with the police even when they're asking for things that they don't deserve. But this time around, I just thought, no, not this time. I'm not going to do it. And they went ahead and arrested us. So this is the New York State Police.
Oh, 49
Look out
more
for
seconds. Ooh.
any troopers from New York and what is it, Wayne County? And the Wayne County Sheriff's Department. Look out for the Wayne County Sheriff's Department because they're in somebody's pocket. Exactly how many different people's pocket is impossible to say. It's an ugly situation. They haul you off when you haven't done anything, which is clear because there are no charges, there's no bail, there's no court date, there's no anything. We didn't do anything, and yet we were stopped. And the guy read the law to me that supposedly said that I had to identify myself. There ain't no such law. He was reading all kinds of. I guess he thought I was going to be like, oh, I don't understand all that. I understand it. I understand there's no law that says that they can simply randomly ask you or demand your identification. So make sure you got that, and we will get on with our day. Marshall Farms also supplies treats and toys for dogs, cats, and other animals. If you buy toys and treats for your little loved ones, you may want to steer clear of a company that raises and sells animals for experimentation. In our next video, we'll show you what happened the second day the shark team went to Marshall Farms. I'm Steve Hindy for Showing Animals Respect and Kindness.
New York State is a very large state, so here is a map. This is halfway between Syracuse and Rochester, roughly, right on Lake Ontario.
Hi folks, I'm Steve Hindy for Showing Animals Respect and Kindness. The individual you're looking at is a security person for Marshall Farms, a company that breeds beagles, ferrets, and other animals for research. Watch what this guy does. We didn't do anything nefarious yesterday. We're not doing anything nefarious today. What's the matter? Does that camera bother you?
Go ahead and do what you're going to do.
Call the sheriff's department. This guy just got in my personal space.
I wasn't in your personal space. I was blocking the sun. The sun is right here. I can't even see you.
Is this man a truth teller or a liar? Let's look at a different camera view. With this camera, we can see that the only way the Marshall Farm security person is telling the truth is if his eyes are right here. So the Marshall Farm security person is a liar. Why does it matter? This same guy turned the New York State Police and the Wayne County Sheriff's Department on a shark team a day earlier. The police were very accommodating to the Marshall Farm security person to the point they made a baseless and illegal traffic stop, bullied the driver of the shark vehicle into giving them his license to avoid their threat of arrest and having his vehicle towed, and then arrested 2 passengers of the shark vehicle, including me, for refusing their illegal demand to see our identification. Let's look more fully at what happened on November 14. We were legally parked on the side of a public road, and it was the Marshall Farm security people who approached us. They brought along a German Shepherd, which apparently they thought would intimidate us. They were wrong.
Hey, reminds me of Standing Rock. Bring on the dogs, huh? Wow. What are you, a part-timer? You don't have the fancy little jacket. Okay, now I will tell you that any interference or attempts to damage
Don't threaten me.
an FAA-registered piece of equipment is a federal crime. That's a fact.
Just do what you're going to do. You're not. I'm not here to listen to you. Do what you're going to do.
You just did listen to me. You just heard it.
I'm not listening to you.
And his
Steve.
camera filmed it.
Steve, Janet, just do what you're going to do.
How do you know Steve and Janet? How do you know that? That would be from the police yesterday, right?
Not at all.
Yeah, really? I think it is.
I think you're wrong.
Why's your mouth twitching? You a
What's
little
that?
nervous? Your mouth twitches.
Well, I
right there on the left side. Is that?
I'm not nervous and I'm not twitching. I'm always a little
you are
bit
twitching.
wary
The
of
camera will
anybody
pick
wearing
it up.
body cameras because that implies to me that you're here for nefarious purposes.
Really? So if a
Why
police
else are you
officer
here?
wears a body camera that's for nefarious purposes,
Why are you
really?
here, Steve? Why are you here? Why are you here?
We didn't do anything nefarious yesterday. We're not doing anything nefarious today. What's the matter? Does that camera bother you?
Go ahead and do what you're going to do. I'm not going to play your game.
Call the sheriff's department. This guy just got in my personal space.
I wasn't in your personal space. I was blocking the sun. The sun is right here. I can't even see you. Go ahead
And since they have to investigate all complaints, let them investigate that.
The sun is directly over your head.
Would you like to switch? Here, now we'll switch.
Whatever you want to do.
Does that make you feel better?
Whatever you want to do.
No, we can call him later. Did you bring him out so we could pet him? Or is he a threat?
Do not touch the dog, sir.
Is he an implied threat?
Do not touch the dog. Our dogs patrol our land.
This isn't your land. This is public land, which means I can walk where I want. That's right. You probably should take him away.
Get him over here on this side.
I think that's a good idea. We're not intimidated by you. We're not intimidated by your police. And we're not intimidated by your dog.
Do what you're going to do, please. Just go
I'm
ahead.
doing what I'm going to
We're
do.
here as observers.
Good.
We're just making sure that you stay within compliance.
Oh,
with federal
please.
regulations.
Please. We're not the ones that broke the law yesterday. Stop it.
Maybe the lying security person wanted to cause a confrontation, maybe have a reason for a dog attack. Either way, the Marshall Farm security team failed.
Lighten up, welcome.
When the state and county police showed up, they were quick to buy into the lie by the security person. Based on their behavior a day earlier, we weren't surprised.
So I talked to him and he was telling me the same thing. He was walking away and then he pulled his hand out to block the sun at the same time, so whatever left. we've advised them obviously not to have any more contact with you. So if they need to make contact, they're going to obviously call us, and then we'll come over and discuss whatever with you.
Why are the police willing to do dirty work for Marshall Farms when Marshall Farms minions lie to the police? I don't pretend to know. What I do know is that while the police are willing to do whatever it takes to serve Marshall Farms, every other citizen's rights and privileges are at high risk. I'm Steve Hindy for Showing Animals.
And just so you know, I generally make almost anybody that is in the community or that isn't an obvious troll a mod, standard mod on my channel, just so anybody can share other people's channels and whatnot. Of course, it's not letting me, even in the studio. I'll have to do it on my phone. Tyrant Hunter News, welcome. Good to see you too. I don't know why it's doing this. All right, let's close that. See if it'll let me do it from the actual channel. But yeah, so yeah, I don't expect you to moderate. Kindness. I'm the one that generally moderates everything on my channel. But if a troll does come in and I'm too busy, at least I'll have tons of them available too. And the biggest thing is I like people to give people the ability to share links of what might be an interesting watch. Hey, Toe. And whatnot.
Yeah, I think they need to send a few more units out here. Oh my God.
The police wanted our information because we legally flew a drone. The focus of the drone's camera was Marshall Farms, a company that raises beagles and ferrets for research. The video has received millions of views. Some people, those who understand the law and the Constitution, get the fact that the police were way out of line, and we thank you for your efforts to educate others. Some people, most with a heavy case of paranoia, have posted all kinds of nonsense demonstrating ignorance of both laws and the Constitution. So we thought we'd try to clarify some facts. First, some people are fooled by the name of the facility, Marshall Farms. There were hilarious posts about our cameras looking through the windows of the farm's bathroom and watching the farmer's wife taking a shower or watching the farmer's daughter as she's sunbathing. In fact, Marshall Farms is not a farm. Marshall Farms is a factory, or something more akin to a concentration camp, that churns out animals for experimentation. There is a mistaken belief by many that it is illegal to fly over private property. It is not. Now, I realize that the flat earth crowd may go wild about this, but the fact remains, all the same, that it is not illegal to fly over private property. Read the actual laws in place as opposed to looking to sites that just tell you what you want to hear. Shark flies according to all FAA regulations, along with consideration for any state or local laws that might apply. That's why, even after detaining us illegally for over an hour, the Marshall Farms minions from the New York State Police and the Wayne County Sheriff's Department couldn't find a single thing to charge us with. What if a drone is used to case a property for a burglary? Well, binoculars have been used for the same purpose. Shall we ban all binoculars? In the minds of some, those what-ifs are enough reason to ban drones. Well, what if a drone is used to deliver a bomb? Cars have been used to deliver bombs many times and will be used again. Shall we ban all motorized vehicles? Yeah. What if a drone is used for terrorism? Guns have been used for terrorism and for other crimes, and for the slaughter of children, yet we don't ban all guns. We've been accused of being sovereign citizens who don't believe in following the law. The opposite is true. We did follow the laws. The violators were the police. Hi, folks. I'm Steve Hindy for Showing Animals Respect and Kindness. What you're looking at is a response from the Wayne County Sheriff's Department to a Freedom of Information request made by Shark after deputies were involved in an illegal traffic stop on November 13, 2016. Wayne County Sheriff's deputies and the New York State Police stopped a Shark vehicle without cause and bullied the driver into turning over his license to avoid being arrested and having his vehicle towed.
Still don't, where's the crime?
Well, what I need
You
to
were
do is...
stopped for a lawful order of a complaint.
I don't know what that means.
Sir, point blank, sir, I need to get a hold of your license. Otherwise, like I said, you're going to end up coming with me.
I still don't hear the crime, though.
Sir, you were stopped. I cannot let you go unless I can prove you're a licensed operator. And if
Why
you
was I
choose-
stopped, though?
You were stopped because of a complaint.
Absolutely.
Okay?
A
So now-
complaint of what? What's the crime?
Look, we don't have to continue with this, sir.
The police subsequently arrested 2 other members of the Shark team, including me, for refusing to identify ourselves, although, like the driver, we had committed no violations whatsoever.
And then you get sued for illegal arrest.
Well, that's fine, ma'am. That's your prerogative to do so if you wish to, but I do need your identification.
On what
You guys
grounds?
choose to identify yourself?
On what
Because I
grounds?
need you to identify yourselves on the basis of the complaint.
No, you don't.
You're not going to identify yourself?
That's right. I'm not.
Okay, sir. I need you to put the camera down. I'm going to take you into custody right now.
There you go.
Ma'am, are you going to identify yourself?
Put the camera down.
Our Freedom of Information requests with the New York State Police and the Wayne County Sheriff's Department asked for all dash cam videos, body cam recordings, audio recordings, and any photographs or video taken, as well as text messages, radio traffic, audio or transcripts, CAD reports, emails, phone recordings, etc. Finally, the requests ask for copies of any communication between the police and Marshall Farms, including emails, text messages, 911 calls, etc. While Wayne County chose to release only this mostly redacted form, the New York State Police are choosing to release nothing until as late as May 30, 2017. That's more than 6 months after the date in question. There's been a lot of interest in this case,
nothing,
so
Dave.
we
We're
wanted
just
to
going over
give you
the
this
Johnny
additional
5-0 video.
piece to the puzzle. The response
Welcome,
of
Angry
these
Vet.
agencies says volumes about their integrity and commitment to service, or the lack thereof. We can assure everyone that we consider this to be a very
This guy is
important
so
matter
stupid.
on a personal level, as well
'Cause he
as
knows it's
protecting
not
the
coming out
rights
his
of all
pocket.
Americans.
Look at that
So
face.
we're giving careful thought on the best way to move forward. We will update this
Look at the
story
grin
as there
on
are developments. We thank you for your
Barbara's
patience and
face.
support. I'm Steve Hindy for Showing Animals Respect and Kindness.
Yep.
Hi, folks. I'm Steve Hindy for Showing
leech of
Animals
a leech.
Respect and Kindness. This is a follow-up to a story that started way back in November 2016 when the New York State Police and the Wayne County Sheriff's Office illegally detained and violated the rights of 3 members of Shark during an illegal traffic stop. We have links in the description section of this video to show our original videos on this subject. I'll get to the best part first because people have long asked what happened. Shark has received a $100,000 settlement. Thank you very much. New York State has agreed to pay $50,000, and Wayne County, New York, has agreed to pay another $50,000. Some of our supporters may remember this ridiculous incident, which followed a Shark team using a
Look at this.
Shark drone to document the animal factory / puppy mill hellhole, euphemistically called Marshall Farms. It was a brief and uneventful flight of only about 10 minutes. That was enough to show the sterile, barren, windowless prison endured by Marshall Farms animals, including beagle puppies who are bred for experimentation. The animals have no access to the outside world. There are no runs for animals, no access to fresh air or sunlight, or any of the things that make life worth living. The management of Marshall Farms knew that their windowless prisons wouldn't look good to caring people, so they decided to use compromised police to try to strong-arm us. Bad idea. The police harassed us for more than an hour, even though we had done absolutely nothing wrong. Those bent cops were determined to get our identities. They didn't care that we had done nothing wrong or that they were violating our rights. Their boss, Marshall Farms, wanted them to strong-arm, and that was that. 2 of us were arrested for not producing our identification, which isn't required when you're not suspected of committing a crime. Later in the day, we were both released with no charges. One other thing, we went back to Marshall Farms the next day and had some exchanges with Marshall Farms Security and the New York State Police. The Marshall Farms security creeps were comically incompetent, but it was one state cop's comment that sealed my determination to take these guys down.
Listen, you got an education in law yesterday when you didn't think you had to provide identification, okay? So
No,
I
the
just
education
explained
is
you,
still to
I'm
come.
not-
$100,000 later, here endeth the lesson, trooper. Our attorney, Nora Constance Marino, is a longtime champion of animal rights and someone who doesn't take kindly to corporate or government bullying. For the better part of 7 years, Nora Constance Marino, with support from New York attorney David Stern, fought the combined forces of Wayne County, New York State, and Marshall Farms. Nora's job was to move our case forward, while Wayne County, New York State, and the animal abusers of Marshall Farms did everything possible to slow things to a crawl. We would have preferred to take this thing all the way to a judge, but given the dilly-dallying of government, it was clear none of us would have lived long enough to get an actual court trial. These bad cops had a number of tax-funded attorneys, and I can't imagine how much taxpayer money was spent trying to avoid the truth and justice. It's too bad that the money paid to us comes from the taxpayers of New York. I wish it had come from these cocky, corrupt cops. I'm Steve Hindy for Showing Animals Respect and Kindness.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our channel to see more of our investigations and learn what you can do to help Shark help animals. Consider sharing our videos so other people can help save lives. If you'd like to support Shark directly, you can follow the donation link in the description section of this video. If you'd like to gain access to exclusive content, consider sponsoring us on Patreon.
Thanks for watching the video, you guys. Go over to the Shark channel if you haven't already and go subscribe over there. This is so disturbing on so many levels. On the side note of just with the animal rights question aside, how private business has state and county police in their pocket is so disturbing. This reminds me of the LAPD and Scientology. Comment below. Let me know what you guys thought of this encounter. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. We will see you in the next one.
Oh no, he's one of my favorite lefties. But yeah, he has been sick. He's looking better. He just got an arrest recently out at the Andrews, I believe, Andrews Air Base.
This guy is being harassed by badge tyrants, and he's sick of it.
All right, Sergeant's on his way, okay?
Why isn't he here?
Can't just appear like out of nowhere.
Well, okay, you can.
Blaze past me.
Blaze past you.
Yep.
Blaze past you.
Yep.
So if you're saying I have warrants, you better arrest me.
Do you have your ID with you?
I do.
Okay, let me see it.
No thanks. You've already violated my 4th Amendment, right? Okay. You're working on the 1st and the 5th and the 6th, and I'm not going to help you.
Still can't get ID from him.
Oh, God, that's fucking hilarious. I'm being detained against my will, no longer able to travel freely and unmolested.
What we have here, the guy in this car, his name is Eric Allred. This is Eric Allred, and this is his YouTube channel. I'll leave the link in the description and the pinned comment. He's being harassed by the Carbon County Sheriff's Office in
What's Dot Coins?
We're going to watch this video.
I reset them all on Friday, and basically there are things you can gamble. You can, if you put up exclamation point points, it'll show you where you're at. I don't know why it won't let me give it to you. On New Year's Eve, whoever has the most points at the end of the day is going to win that Voodoo Piggy that I posted in my community post. It's the number 15 Genesis Series Voodoo Piggy. I don't know if you ever watched Flash with Bao, but it's one of the first editions. Oh, wait. Look who we have here. There he is. He's got some pins stuck in his back already. So, you want to torture your favorite piggy? You're welcome to. So, we'll have Bao adjust it because he tracks where he sent them all and where they'll go. I will. I'll send it to him. Send it to you. Here, actually. Fuck. How can I do it? Are you on Telegram? How the hell am I gonna send it to you?
But you know what? Americans like Eric are sick and tired of being harassed. They're sick and tired of being economically terrorized. They're sick and tired of having their rights taken away under the color of
Forgot
law.
how I did it
This
last
is an
time.
example
I
of
think I did just this. I
deprivation of
dropped it in
rights
chat.
under color of law. And generally speaking, cops are not personally held accountable for their tyrannical actions. We don't accept tyranny in any other avenue in our life, but all of a sudden we're going to start accepting tyranny when it has to do with law enforcement tyranny, government sanctioned tyranny. We're going to watch this and we're going to make some comments along the way, but listen to how Eric, listen to his voice, look at his demeanor. He and multitudes of Americans that he represents are sick of this.
All right, Sergeant's on his way, okay?
Why isn't he here?
You can't just appear like out of nowhere.
Well, okay, you can. Well, now refresh my memory on what this stuff is about.
When you drove past me, after I had that traffic stop back there, blazed past me.
Blazed past you?
Yep.
Blazed past you?
Yep.
Okay.
So I ran the plate on this vehicle. Comes back to Eric Allred, who has warrants. I'm going to make sure.
Okay, well, that's me. Arrest me. Let's go.
Do you have warrants?
You're saying I do. I guess I must.
There's a lot of Eric Allreds out there. I'm trying to verify if this is you or not.
Well, you know, when you radioed in the plates to this
There you go.
or this private automobile, you got me. So if you're saying I have warrants, you better arrest me.
Okay. Do you have your ID with you?
I do.
Okay, let me see it.
No thanks.
Just look at this guy's face. He's sick of it, and rightly so. How many Americans have to be harassed? How many have to be economically terrorized? How many have to be bludgeoned, handcuffed, thrown in the back of a police car, a hot police car, or a police car sitting on railroad tracks? How many people have to have their rights taken away, taken down to be fingerprinted, and thrown into
I already had it.
How many? How long does it have to go on?
You can drop it. You can do the same thing. Instead of texting that to me, you can put it in the chat.
You've already violated my Fourth Amendment, right? You're working on the First and the Fifth and the Sixth, and I'm not going to help.
See that dog in his back seat? That dog's in jeopardy when cops are around.
You're working on the First and the Fifth and the Sixth, and I'm not going to help you.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
Still can't get ID from him. So okay.
Hello. How can I help you? I don't know, but he seems to have a problem with me, so let's get to...
It's truly psychotic. Imagine pulling somebody over, harassing them, interrupting their day, coming along the side of their car and saying, "Hey, how can I help you?" Isn't it evident?
How did you get that link? You clicked share, right? Did you share it to a text? How about just share it to link and then just paste it in chat? That's it. I'm not trying to be a dick, man, but I don't mind doing this. It just
Evident. I just want to be free.
One of the main
I
reasons
just
everybody's
want
a
to
mod
travel
is so we can drop
unmolested.
links.
I don't
Hey,
want to
Jared.
be harassed. How can I help you?
the bottom of it, real quick, like.
Okay. So I can smell weed from your car.
Oh, God, that's fucking hilarious.
Okay. Do you not have marijuana on yet?
Dude, be serious.
I'm being serious.
Well, you're evidently full of shit. If you're smelling weed, you need something to do, go down to the border and work. We need good help down there.
So how can I help you today?
I'm being detained for what reason? I don't know. I have warrants. If that's the case, let's go. I don't like playing fucking games.
Okay.
I'm being detained against my fucking will. No longer able to travel freely and unmolested.
Okay. So do you have identification on you?
Yeah, he pulled the I smell weed card. That right there lets you know this is a fishing expedition. The first guy said, well, he blazed by me. Well, how fast is blazing speed? First it's he blazed by me. Now it's we smell weed. Or we smell weed, and that gives us justification. That, in their minds, that gives us probable cause or even the minimum reasonable articulable suspicion to keep you detained so we can investigate.
Anything I give you will be used against me. This private automobile is registered to me.
Okay, but
What? Nothing.
he needs to have your identification.
Well, am I suspected of committing a crime?
My understanding is.
Oh, well, care to articulate that crime?
What crime he committed?
Tell him.
Oh my God.
So,
YouTube, here we come.
Did he move over, slow down at any of those? He didn't slow down. He moved over, but
Now he's prodding the guy who initially pulled Eric over.
Yeah, good
Come on,
drop off by your work.
come on. There's something. What is it?
There's Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah, I was hauling ass,
I don't
huh?
know what that is.
Fucking kidding me. What a joke.
I'm sure there is something around there.
Oh, crimes. No, you're alleging
You
infraction.
hear what he said? That's the crime he broke instead of that's the law he broke. That's the crime he broke. I mean, it's our crime ring. What are we going to do here?
Actions? What crime?
failure to yield.
Failure to yield.
Failure to move over for
Failure to kiss your ass. Oh, and I blew past you? Okay.
Eric.
So first it was blue pass. Now it's failure to yield or fail to pull over for an emergency vehicle with the lights flashing. And now it's I smell weed.
Unbelievable. Well, let's see these warrants. Come on, let's go.
Well, we need your ID.
Pull me out. Whoa.
So I'm gonna have you step out, Eric.
No, you're not. I'm not stepping out. I don't feel safe. How about that?
Okay, well, we don't feel safe with the gun being right next.
Well, then I'd like to be on my way and free to go.
We, the men who are carrying guns, don't feel safe you being in the car next to a gun. The hypocrisy is unprecedented.
As soon as, make sure nothing. You say you smell weed, get the drug dog over here so I can throw it in your face. Come on.
Never say that because they'll take that as consent. Well, you told us to get the drug dog. You told us to violate your rights. Yeah, never say something like that. I understand it's sarcasm, but they are not going to take that as sarcasm. They're going to take that as, well,
Nope.
you gave us consent. Look, we got it on video recording. We got it on audio recording.
501. Hell yeah.
No thanks. I don't feel safe.
Eric, come on, dude. This ain't.
Come on, nothing.
Eric, I'm asking you to.
Well, you can ask all you want. I don't feel safe.
It's going from a citation.
It ain't going for shit.
To me.
Who taught you? Where'd you go to cop school?
I've went to.
Violate rights? Violate rights?
By the way, if you do give them consent, whether it's sarcastic and they took it as real consent or you really gave them consent, you can always withdraw consent. Always. At any point.
Okay, listen to me. It's going from.
You guys are a joke.
It's going from a simple, probably a warning,
To
going to jail.
well, then let's go.
Okay, step out.
Fucking unbelievable.
Step back in.
Fuck you guys. You need something to do? Y'all know you want to hit me. Go for it. Oh, we got crimes here. You ain't touching me. You don't fucking touch me. No, the fuck you are. Pat, no, don't be grabbing me up. Pat.
It's so humiliating and so demoralizing, but that is part of the psychological operation when you're talking about law enforcement. You have to humiliate your subject. You have to demoralize your subject. Then you have them exactly where you want them.
Oh, you're detaining me for what crime?
We're not any crime. You're being detained because of officer safety reasons.
Oh.
There you go. There you go. Officer, it's not that you committed a crime. You're not being detained for any kind of crime. He made it absolutely clear. We value our lives more than we value your rights. Officer safety trumps individual rights. Listen.
Oh, you're detaining me for what crime?
We're not any crime. You're being detained because of officer safety reasons.
Oh, pussy reasons.
Bring your hand up there.
Don't be fucking. Yeah, put it on.
Now, this is when they have the camera. When they put his hands behind his back, he's still got the camera in his hands when they're arresting him, and then they take the video camera and it continues to record.
Hey, am I being detained?
Yeah, we told you you were.
For what crime?
No crime. You're being detained for officer safety.
Oh, for officer safety. Great.
That's twice. That's twice they said you're not being arrested for a crime. You're being arrested for officer safety. And they call it detention. Guys, these are synonymous terms. They try to employ wordplay. They use all these euphemisms. If you're being arrested, you're being detained. If you're being detained, you're being arrested. It doesn't matter about the length of time that you're arrested or detained. You are not free to go. You don't have freedoms at this point when you're arrested or detained.
Is your body cam on?
It sure is.
Thank God. Mine's probably going to get erased.
Yeah.
Fucking clowns.
Okay, just give me a second.
We the people had
Here,
enough of
Decca.
your bullshit. I got you.
That is absolutely true. We have had enough of your BS. Looks like he's trying to figure out how to turn it off. There you go.
Putting one in my vehicle. I'm just making sure that I don't want to go in your fucking vehicle. You're going in my vehicle. So, well, I am. Okay, for what crime? No crime. Oh, no crime.
That is the third time they said, you're not arrested and we're not throwing you in the back of the car for a crime. This is for officer safety. Third time.
Circus, get Jeff down here, fuckface. Fucking assholes.
All right, I'm not going to play this part because it's probably copyrighted. That's probably why they put him in the cop car and kept the radio going, because they knew that his video recording was still going. And they tend to do that. They try to turn on music, copyrighted music, so you can't upload the video to YouTube and be monetized. Seats! Seats! This is kind of rehashing from a different body cam perspective.
Like, so he's just got that big pit bull in there that's trying to get out.
Okay.
So you're gonna go into that.
So, you smell weed. I smell weed. Okay. So, and then he's not identifying himself.
Morning, Cynthia.
You smelled weed, didn't you, Muggsy? Yeah, I smelled weed too. And they're going to tell this third guy, hey, stick your nose in there. See if you smell weed.
And then that firearm, when I first pulled him over, did you see the stuff next to him?
Yeah.
Was completely covered.
Was that?
So
here, rub him. Stick your head in there, see if you can smell weed.
Listen to this. Yeah, I smell faint, but yeah. So now you got 3 cops who are colluding and conspiring against this guy, and it looks like 18 U.S.C. 241, conspiracy against rights. Sure looks like 18 U.S.C. 242, deprivation of rights under color of law. Yeah, it's faint, but yeah, I smell it too. So that's 3 witnesses, 3 state functionaries.
Oh, I might just change it, Aiden. That sounds awesome.
Most when he got me, yeah, right before the dog got me. So as soon as I came up here, that's the first thing. Like as I'm approaching the vehicle, that's what I smell.
That's a good boy. He's a good boy.
This is the first I've seen his ID. Price 120. Can you also check AAA? Yeah, the reason for a stop is if I'm sitting there getting off of a stop and I notice a vehicle, if I notice a vehicle like that flying by, and then
if your lights are still active, it doesn't matter if you're still in the stop. Your lights are on, they have to significantly slow down or move over as far as possible.
Man, if that's the criteria, the subjective criteria, they could pull you over for anything, at any time, for any reason, so they can conduct their fishing expedition on you.
So let's
So this failure to yield has now turned to, we smell weed, which has now turned to, get out the drug dog, which now turned into, you're arrested and sitting in the back of a cop car until we have our way with you and your property.
leash. Do you have a clip leash or is it?
I think I have a clip leash. I got that.
I got scared just for a brief second.
What did he say?
I got scared just for a brief second.
Couldn't see the vehicle.
Yeah.
I pulled off just so they could see all of our lights.
I got scared for a brief second, is what he said.
Before we take him out of cuffs, I'm just going to explain his ticket to him.
It's unlocked.
I could explain it to him with him out of the cuffs, but I want to keep him in the torture cuffs while I explain it. There's your psychopathy right there.
Your lucky laptop.
There's the mental
Welcome.
underpinnings of an individual who wants to see another person continue to suffer while he reads him what his ticket is about. He knows this guy's not going to lash out at him so that the state can come and hunt him down, but they're going to keep him in cuffs while they read his ticket to him.
Hey, Derek, step out.
I don't know why you're not.
Yeah, let me just explain the citation to you, okay? Yep. So you're gonna have to take care of this within 14 days, but no sooner than 5. We do that at Carbon County Justice Court. Just circle there.
No sooner than
That's
5.
their address. That's their phone number. Okay. So I just failed to move over or slow down for emergency vehicle.
Failure to yield or slow down for an emergency vehicle.
Okay. Just like the car in front of me, maybe the car behind me. Oh, don't worry, just don't miss court. I'll be there.
Okay. Is that for you? All right. These cards. That'd be me.
Okay.
Sergeant Hadley. And Deputy Noyce.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Thanks.
Have a good day. Drive safe.
Have a good day.
Didn't that see that police car just go flying by? He was failure yield.
All right, so again, that's Eric Allred, and he just got done getting
Oh,
harassed
1
by the
second,
Carbon
Chopper.
County
1
Sheriff's
second too
Office
early.
in Utah. I will leave the link to Eric Allred's YouTube channel and the Carbon County Sheriff's Office from Utah. I'll leave their Facebook page link in the description. There is a phone number there, by the way, a public phone number. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comments below. Is it time for Americans to say, you know what, enough is enough? We're not going to roll over. We're not going to bow down. We're not going to placate. We're not going to comply with your illegal commands.
Apparently, I didn't have AdSense set up.
18 USC 242 deprivation of rights under color of law. This is conspiracy against rights, clearly, and you cops need to be held personally responsible. The lawsuits should fall at your feet, not at the feet of tax collectors. Remember, the price of freedom is now and will always be eternal vigilance, and indifference to this notion is the means by which the people have and will secure their own oppression. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook, follow me on YouTube, and on Instagram. I will see you guys in the next video.
Okay, apparently it's being reviewed. Sorry. All right. I think Breaking the Flaw has a video coming up. Eight minutes. Let's watch this little bit of history of in Michigan here.
It's the largest island in Lake Michigan, and an island with a colorful history. A rogue king, a brawling priest, an unlicensed doctor, ethnic cleansing, a small railroad, and Irish refugees. The island even had marauding pirates and assassination and violent skirmishes. But today, islanders wave at you as they drive by. The rugged isolation meets small town charm. A place where you can live your life without boundaries, without the constraints of the mainland. I'm Chuck.
I'm Poppins.
The channel's Restless Viking. Let's go explore Beaver. To Beaver Island, when you fly Island Airlines, you come to Welke Airport. But now, in that pile of cars is our rental. I'm not really sure where it's parked. So we're looking for a maroon Blazer. So Poppins was right. There is a special rental car reserved parking. So rumor has it, Poppins, that the keys are somewhere in the car, and you kind of play a little game called Find the Keys. Nothing? Nothing? Oh, and then you try didn't you try the cup holder?
And now to the grocery store to buy some wine.
Get the old service engine soon and anti-lock brakes. Actually, if you come out to a place like Beaver and expect a brand new rental, you're crazy. Next stop is supplies.
Wine.
It's Trent. How are you?
Hi.
Yeah, that's strategic. Only one bottle, Poppins?
Yeah, that's enough for one day. And they're only open 1 hour tomorrow from 11 to noon.
So let's start at the beginning. 11,000 years ago, the Wisconsin ice sheet left this area. A lake popped up, but then also Beaver Island popped up. From 4,000 to 8,000 years ago, Beaver Island wasn't an island at all. It was a peninsula because the lake level had dropped, but then it went up and it went down. And 4,000 years ago, a glacier that scooped up rocks from the Canadian Shield somewhere in Ontario kind of was down in this area, and it dropped a big rock. This is what is known on Beaver Island as the Big Rock. And it's a glacial erratic. It's brought from somewhere else. And that's pre-Cambrian rock there. That's some of the Earth's oldest rock. And it doesn't match the bedrock in this area. So this glacier picked it up, brought it here, and just dropped it. And today you can visit the Big Rock on Fox Lake Road, which is...
I haven't done any gaming. My regular PC has been down for almost a year now. I've been too lazy to replace the motherboard in it because I've had enough laptops to make it work. But my gaming has reduced it dramatically.
And just a little ways down the road from the Big Rock is a large 250 to 300-year-old birch tree that is considered the biggest birch tree in Michigan. And I don't know anything about its history, but it is a mighty big birch tree. You can make a lot of canoes out of that, Poppy. Still snow here in early April.
The first humans that set foot on this land was 2,200 years ago. And we know this because pottery was found, arrowheads. It looks like the native tribes had just been passing through.
And then when Europeans started landing on the east coast of North America, and the Odawa started retreating in small waves. And in the mid-1700s, they landed here. And in 1832, Father Barraga started converting the indigenous people to Catholicism, except for the people that lived here. Trappers and traders started showing up here in the early 1800s. And Mackinac Island and Beaver Island became the two economic powerhouses of this wilderness area. And the traders started bringing furs here to sell. And the biggest commodity
play a
they
lot
had
of
in
Escape
this
from
particular
Tarkov.
location
There's so
was
many
whiskey.
cheaters in that game now.
Hence the name Whiskey Point. And by 1850, about 100 people lived here. And by 1856, St. James Harbor was a harbor of refuge, so they had to build a lighthouse. But what those 100 people didn't know in 1850 was that their lives were about to change, because over there were a few Mormons that began settling. And their leader, James Strang, had plans.
So today at Whiskey Point, you can find the St. James Township Hall, Central Michigan University's Research Center, the Harbor Point Lighthouse, and you will find the memorial to all the Beaver Islanders who have died on the Great Lakes. So some of Strang's followers came here in 1848. There's a lot to the history about King Strang. We'll get into that later.
James Jesse Strang was a controversial figure in the early Latter-day Saints movement. After the death of their first leader, Joseph Smith, Strang and a few others tried to take charge of the Mormon Church, and Brigham Young got most of the followers to go to Utah, to Salt Lake City. But Strang brought some people here to Beaver Island, and he called Beaver Island his Zion. And in 1850, in an unusual ceremony here in the island, he was crowned king of his religion. In fact, he had a red robe with white fur and black speckles. He had a breastplate, a wooden scepter, and a tin crown with glass jewels in it. And what's left here on Beaver Island is the Mormon print shop, where they used to publish a Mormon newspaper that was widely circulated around northern Michigan. Eventually, Strang brought about 2,200 followers here. And although he never claimed to crown himself king of Beaver Island, the fact was that he ruled his followers, and he started to rule the island residents by trying to crowd them out and trying to make them follow the laws of the Mormon Church. So eventually, after about 6 years of that type of rule, he wasn't very well liked. And then there were claims of piracy, property theft, violence, and all kinds of activity. Trouble eventually led to what was called the War of Whiskey Island. And from this location, King Strang noticed that a group of Gentile rebels were gathering over there at Whiskey Point. And from here, they fired a cannon at the group that was gathering. And of course, because they had a cannon, they won the war. And there were other shots exchanged, and all of these tensions escalated. And even President Fillmore sent people to get him under control. But it really didn't work until 1856. And at 7 a.m. on June 16th, 1856, two former Strangites, Thomas Bedford and Alexander Wentworth, approached Strang from behind as he went down this hill to have dinner with the captain of the USS Wolverine, which was docked here. And officers and sailors of the USS Wolverine watched everything unfold from the decks of the ship. The two assailants shot Strang 3 times, and one of them pistol whipped him. And then they claimed sanctuary on the USS Wolverine, a U.S. government ship. And despite the pleadings of the sheriff, the captain of the USS Wolverine left the docks and went to Mackinac Island, where the two assailants were tried and fined $1.50 each and set free. And Strang, who was still alive, was brought to Voorhees, Wisconsin, where he died on July 5th. And there's still some situations going on the island still today. And what happened next was called the most disgraceful day in Michigan history by
Have a good nap on
Cutchin,
Indoctrinated.
Michigan historian. Gentiles from Mackinac
Lions
Island and
don't play
surrounding
till
islands boarded
4:30
ferries, and
today,
they arrived
so
at Beaver
I'm
Island
watching
as a
Cleveland
drunk
and,
mob. And they laid waste to
San
the Mormon
Fran play right
homesteads,
now.
and they pulled people out
In
of
the
their
background.
houses, they burned their belongings, they stole their belongings, and they loaded them all onto steamers and sent them to different parts of the Great Lakes and told
Nice
them to get
roll,
lost. All
Chopper.
2,200 Mormons were eventually chased off the island. After 8 years, the Mormons had created a moderate civilization
And now they were all gone. We're going to pause this once Breaking the Plug goes live.
Some say, though, the Mormons stole everything they needed
Peeking
to
on his
create that
premiere,
society.
we'll jump in a little bit late.
The most
That way we're
interesting
not
chapter of Beaver Island's
pulling
history
from his
ends.
live, actually.
And before we
Just
go on
wait
with Beaver
till it
Island's
gets
history
into it a bit.
happens, what are we going to go do next?
We're going to weasel our way into a community event. They have a family movie night here on the island.
Hello, this young lady would like a large popcorn. We know you're still making it.
Yeah.
Can you bring it in?
We'll bring it in and then we'll wave you down.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good.
So it might be dark in there, my mom.
And then 2 fountain drinks. If we finished the first lighthouse in the southern end of Beaver Island. Poppins and I made our journey south here to the tower, and we're checking out the light tower. That first tower, 7 years after it was built, it actually toppled over and then slid down from its foundation toward the water, and they built the second one here. It became a school for the Charlevoix Public Schools, and they brought students out here for field trips and for study, and it closed down a few years ago. And during the summer, you can actually go
In 1845, the Great Potato Famine brought a bunch of Irish people here to Beaver Island, like about 100 or so. And then they would write back to their family, "You've got to see America's Emerald Isle." So many of the more Irish came in waves. So this island offered protection from prejudice for the Irish. They spoke Gaelic here. Masses were said in Gaelic. In 1880, there were 881 people on this island, with 141 Gallaghers, 123 Boyles, and 90 were O'Donnells.
So you take Poppins Point, of course. 40% of the island was made up of 3 Irish names. And in 1880, the rich fishing grounds around the island made Beaver Island the largest provider of freshwater fish in the United States. And you can see that heritage here at the Beaver Island Maritime Museum. It's closed right now, but in the summer, it's a fascinating walkthrough. You can even explore that old
Restless Viking. I've watched a few of his videos.
But the invention of the steamboat allowed mainland fishermen to come out to their fishing grounds and to basically fish them and then be home
Beaver
by
Island.
the evening. It's a rudder. And by 1893, production of fishing here on Beaver Island had declined to about half. Now, the Irish persona was and is very present here. And in 1865, a priest, Father Peter Gallagher, arrived, and he was the antithesis of the Irish personality. He was a dispute settler, a money loaner. He carried on with the bachelors, bought land. He owned a merchant ship, and he hunted and fished. And in fact, he won a team of horses in a marksmanship bet, and he once got in a fight with a parishioner, causing St. Ignatius Chapel to be closed down because he drew blood. Now, the bishop sent some men to oust Father Peter Gallagher, but his parishioners wouldn't let the men off the boat. They sent them packing, and Father Peter Gallagher got to stay here until he died in 1898. And then there was Fyodor Protar. He was a newspaper editor and an actor that was born into the Russian Empire. He wanted to practice some of the teachings of Tolstoy's religious movement. So he bought a place and he moved to Beaver Island. And he took up residence in this old cabin. And he worked to be self-sufficient. And he tried to do good for everyone that he met.
I got some friends at this Cleveland San Fran game.
Especially for those that couldn't
Both
afford
of them are
too far away from St. James.
fans of different teams.
The medical services that he provided were so important that it looks like the state of Michigan just kind of looked the other way, even though he was an unlicensed physician. So he became known as Dr. Protar, and he objected to that.
Oh yeah.
He practiced pharmacology from the plants.
It's about the same elevator.
Fyodor Protar died.
Latitude as where you're at, though.
In this cabin.
Chopper, but it's right in the middle of a
Protar
lake.
had written arrangements for his death when he died, and he said no coffin, no black dress, no grave digging, no flowers are necessary. 1 strong bag and a heavy stone will cover all requirements, and 4 friends in summer to row and winter to drive me out onto the ice and let me slip into the water is all what is necessary. The state of Michigan didn't allow for water burials, though. So instead, the Islanders placed him here. This is Protar's tomb. It's obviously a sad day for the Islanders when Protar died. The Islanders took up a collection to build this tomb, and they maintain it to this day.
The year-round residents of Beaver Island are nice, sure, but even a random conversation with the bartender can turn into something unexpected and amazing. In our case, we were invited by Paul and Angel Welke for a visit that became a few hours of amazing conversation and the highlight of our trip.
When I was 15 in 1965, I started learning to fly. And that summer, my birthday is on September 5th. I soloed on my birthday, which is the earliest you can.
Is that right? Wow.
And so, so I got my private license in like April of '67, and I was 17. I was still in high school.
Yeah, whenever anyone would owe money, big Paul Barron, just tall, big, burly guy, Betty would call him on the radio. Paul, I would like George on my side of the plane. So that meant he had to pull the plane up, and Betty would open the door and say, George, you owe me $41.
Paul has been flying commercially since 1972 and has made more than 35,000 trips between Beaver Island and Charlevoix.
Another unique thing we do, we're approved to provide air ambulance service just for Beaver Island.
Angel organizes hundreds of passenger and freight flights every year. They have built an impressive airport on this remote island.
So this is the front part of the parts room, and we have so many parts, we had to add a storage container. The island. So this is the rest of the...
Is it just because it's a storage container?
Paul took the time to show us his impressive collection of wartime history.
Had to resign their commission, their Army or Navy pilots.
That was down there.
We talked for hours about life, our passions, and even dogs. Paul and Angel are a lifeline for the residents of the island. But they also represent what I can only describe as a family of people that call Beaver Island home.
But when they tried to pin him down,
And then in 1902, the Beaver Island Lumber Company was formed, and timber has been a commodity of this island for quite a while. They still ship it out today. And to move logs around on Beaver Island, they actually built a small railroad, which I think is pretty cool. And you can still see the railroad in some places. You can see the sweet hole or the grade that was created for the railroad, which headed west from St. James Bay to the north shore of Font Lake and then south on the west shore of Font Lake. That's quite a little interesting piece of history for a small island like this to have a railroad. It doesn't exist anymore, but I think up by some of the museums you can see the machinery. And as you would imagine, those railroads that were built by the lumber company, because they're a lumber company, not a railroad, were not the best maintained. And David Chase, who was an engineer on the Beaver Island Limited, on April 17th of 1908, the tracks kind of gave way and there was a derailment, and he was killed when the engine rolled over on him. And this is his memorial and where that happened. And we are back at Welke Field for our trip home. This video was just a brief history of what Beaver Island offers. Stay tuned this summer. We're going to head back when more things open up and kind of get going. But for now, we're going to take probably a bumpy ride back. It's pretty windy out, so it should be a blast. Thanks for joining us. I'm Chuck.
Hi, Poppy.
Channel's Restless Viking. We'll see you soon.
Let's see what else they got. Sleeping Bear Dunes, that's a good one. Yeah, it is a cool channel. Lots of cool stuff. Michigan's Ferries. Ironton Ferry. All right. Behind, so we're gonna speed it up a little bit too. I'll come back to that channel though.
Guys, I'm out here with Press NH now. We're riding bikes here in Keene, trying to get to a call, maybe. Let's see how this goes. see lights, I think, further down. You see the blue over there? See the blue? Oh God, I'm gonna be out of breath. I'm gonna be so out of breath. You saw it, right?
Oh no, Cynthia. Wow. That's definitely a long life there, Chopper, for Gramps.
That's it right there. They keep going around the corner.
Him right there?
No, he just went down there and took it on the right.
Ready? What's going on here?
Listen for the radio. Yeah, the radio. I'll let you guys know if they come. Hey, they're driving around. They already got a call.
Hey, it'll be a whoop whoop.
First world problem. I'll do this. Anyone has private security?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one looks cool. There's lots of cool videos here on this channel.
For real. 250, 260. Yeah, listen.
Okay. She will respond over to 91 Winchester Street for a very large party. The RP is no longer there, but she said she was assaulted there tonight and took her home alone. She's like the hard shut down.
Hold on. Ask him if this is 91. Yep. Hey, they're coming here to shut you down. Cops just called. Yep.
This is cool.
We're listening to the scanner, guys.
Thank you. You're a real one.
Appreciate it.
What'd you say? Is this 91?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Accidental
Hold it out
Adam
and
down.
take her right out.
Hold on, watch this one.
Is this 91 or 91?
That should be 5.
Oh, either way. They're out there right now. Yep, they're there.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I don't know if that's necessary at this point yet, Aiden, to explain that. I would hope that most people that
72 School Street. That's right near you.
to watch me, you know, that also probably have watched Bao for a couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see the cops over 72 School Street. Holy fuck.
But
they must have just stole a car. And when was it?
This is a well-traveled piggy, too. I used to only be the co-owner of it.
They shouldn't have us clean out these bodies anyway. Yeah. This guy. That's a supervisor. It's Keene State College.
Oh. I don't.
Don't.
No,
We
but
heard
they,
it though.
They did say that there was an
Taking a
assault
look.
here earlier. They said there was an assault here earlier and that they want to shut down the recording party. That's what they said.
So somebody got kicked out because they're racist.
That's what happened.
I have to keep it up out of the way from the cats and the puppy, the pug puppy, because he will chew it up.
I know.
Even with the needles in it.
Mighty Moose Farts wasn't open. It's the last one. Is it? I guess they're breeding every time.
Bow's a unique figure, that's for sure.
Yeah. They're coming right now.
The ones that rag him about not going out in the street anymore crack me up. Those are mostly people that have not experienced the dungeons that he's experienced.
Oink, oink.
The biggest one I think I hear is from Brooklyn. Keeps saying, oh, you're going to get arrested and deported. The guy is a U.S. Army veteran. Oh yeah, you got to hold that energy in. This one just flows. But just recently, Bao popped into a panel.
So the call that we initially got was we did have arrested on driving road. Okay, I don't think so. Yes, I mean.
Yes, we all won. Wondering why I only win half of what everybody else wins. Almost every time I'm in the results and I do win, I'm only getting half of what everyone else is getting. Weird. And I'm just giving mine away once I figure out why it won't work. Oh, Bow is hilarious. Yeah. You got to know how to take them though.
Mind if I ask what's in the bag that you're drinking?
You can ask all you want.
You don't want to tell me?
I don't have to tell you.
No, I know. I'm just asking. I'm just trying to tell
I appreciate the asking.
I'm only asking just because if it's an alcoholic beverage, then that's against city ordinances. But
Cheers.
would you mind showing it to me just so I can ensure that it's not?
No, I don't want to violate my Fourth Amendment rights.
Video about something like this that happened not too long ago? I couldn't tell you. I could. I mean, that's why I'm asking. I'm not trying to cause any kind of unnecessary issues, but if it's an alcoholic container, then you gotta get rid of it. There's certain places that you can have an alcoholic container.
Can I do it right here?
I'm sorry, what's that?
Can I do it right here?
Do what?
Absolutely, Aiden.
Yeah, can I drink this right here?
If it's an alcoholic container, if it's an alcoholic beverage, you can. But if it's not, that's why I'm saying. Oh, that's why I'm
I'm gonna grab a cup of coffee. We're gonna switch off of this once I get back.
Subject, right? I'm not. I mean, you're not throwing a big cuss like that video I saw, though. So that's good. No, I mean that's why I'm asking. I'm not trying to.
You can ask.
All right. It's okay. All right.
Smell you later. $3181. What was his name?
Laporte.
Laporte?
Yeah.
Movie 10-8. There was no violations of the party, just being cleared out for the night. Do you have the phone number for the RT?
That's Keene State College, isn't it? Or is that the supervisor?
You can give that to me so I can speak with her about
It looks like supervisor. Supervisor drives out.
No, that's a campus security.
I had their scanner.
There's more pigs. There's more pigs coming.
That was funny.
You guys got like, how do you know that? I'm not trying to be like.
We have a scanner.
Already.
You have a
You guys should
scanner?
too, man. I don't know why one person.
I'm not trying. Like, where'd you get it from?
I got it from my buddy.
Swear to God!
I got him out of.
Are you sure?
Yo, let's go watch a movie.
All right,
Come on.
my fault.
Let's
Yeah.
go watch a horror movie. Yep.
Yo, have a good night, dog. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Dude, I'm the one who told you they were coming.
I know. We warned you guys about the cops. Now he's coming to leave. Yeah, I ain't leaving because I'm the press. I ain't leaving.
Like, do me a favor, just get off my property.
I'm not on the property.
I am. I'm doing my job right now. Yeah, I will. Yeah, dude, I'm on a phone sidewalk. I'm not here to bother you guys. I'm here to fucking let you guys know when the cops are coming so you guys don't get fucked. I know, I'm not good. I'm not going anywhere. Wait, how do you know they're coming?
We're helping you guys, you know?
Just don't want you to stand around.
Hey, the cops know us. The cops know us too. So.
I know, but my worry is they're going to see you and be like, oh, something's going on.
No, they're not.
I have 130,000 people on I know. All the cops are out. They take a lap.
Oh, we're trying to get our friend who's like about to have a kid.
They really don't care. Just take a lap. Yeah, no, they said people. I'm not saying that because ego or anything like that. I know. Like, I live here. I'm trying to be careful. I don't want to get fined. I mean, there was I appreciate you guys. I got you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I know. You can walk with it. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, I'll stay out of the way. I know. I know. I'm just worried people cops are going to see people standing in front and they're like, oh, what's going on here? And then walk up. And the last people they want to pop their hands up.
Yep. No, they really don't.
You guys, I appreciate it.
Yep.
So, my name's Josh. If they come back or if I hear most people on the door are like whole time, so if you hear anything, mission right now is go. Yeah, good. And that's the end goal. It's clear.
Sitting here yapping, and I forgot that I had turned the camera off.
A few hours ago, we were chatting on the radio. You guys, you know, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, be safe, guys. Be safe, guys.
You know who's gonna be upset is Dirty. Y'all gotta catch
I'll do a
him
whoop
because
whoop.
he's not in here.
That's the cops. That's the cops. Whoop whoop. Yeah, I always record. I've actually turned it away from you guys right now. So.
Yeah, they don't like people blocking the sidewalk. I get that. That's why I'm like over here. All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
And don't worry, this is 0%. Just don't tell them I'm trying to bait them.
What you like to hear? You guys playing watch up? All right,
Yeah.
you guys have a great night. Thank
You do, man. We just came to this call, right? So. All right, should we bounce? I know. It's just so hard. Like trying to help.
Yeah, well, they're college kids.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? I get what they're trying to say about keeping it fair, but they gotta understand that, you know, if I didn't tell them, they would have had a shitload of people out there.
There's still people coming.
Oh, 3 more seconds, Jared.
People out there, right?
By the time you got the command, yeah, I was gonna say. Man, some partying going on there.
I wasn't trying to, but I was about to.
It's like a college town. Where are they at? Keene, New Hampshire? I don't know. That's it. Ooh, good roll.
That's trash. Trash. Yeah.
We'll come back to it. I have shared his link for him. He wanted the video shared, and I told him I would. But let's look at this one here.
This is Olaf. He's been in charge of security here at the resort. A lot of fun. Hello, Restless Adventures. We're here at Lot of Fun in South Carolina with Poppins and Scuba Steve.
Hi, y'all.
Scuba Steve and I used to spend a lot of time doing search and rescue things and important save the world kinds of things. And he's down here in South Carolina now. And we decided to come down to visit him and tell us what you found for us.
Well, in preparation for the Vikings visit, I set off to find some things that would convey the history and uniqueness of this region. And one of the things I found was Mars Bluff. Mars Bluff is a site where many years ago, a bomb by the U.S. was dropped on our own land accidentally.
And it wasn't just any bomb.
An atom bomb.
What kind of bomb was it, Chuck?
It was a nuclear bomb.
By our United States Air Force. Whoops.
This is an interesting story. So we're going to head out there and take a look.
Check it out. It's going to be awesome.
And also check out, what's your YouTube channel?
Ryan Tronic YouTube channel.
All right.
TORONYI.
And with that, we took our leave of our friends in their resort. A lot of fun with a touching goodbye.
See you later, jackass.
And our first stop was the Florence County Museum to see what we could find out about this incident. Indigo cotton and some sort of connection to Florence Nightingale. It's always interesting to stop at local museums to learn about the area's rich history. There are always bits of fascinating and unexpected records.
Could you imagine having the distinction of being named Colonel Coward?
The Florence County Museum did not disappoint. News of the Mars Bluff event was pretty intense for the first few days, then it was suspiciously quiet. The display was relatively sparse. We read the board, watched the silent but nicely done looping newsreel video, and headed to the site.
This is specifically about the atomic bomb accident on March 11th, 1958. The United States Air Force dropped a 7,600-pound bomb. Let's go check it out. So you can enter from the neighborhood, but I guess the preferred entrance is from the abandoned Phillips 66 station. Through these long abandoned, I guess long abandoned trailer park roads, maybe? So that's the streets missing manhole. So these streets are missing manhole covers, I guess, because they're worth a lot more scrap than they are sitting out here.
Holy cow.
Lots of abandoned stuff around here.
Unfortunately, our research did not include this curious grid of abandoned roads. It was an interesting drive for sure.
And now we're into a mission that was on its way to the UK in a B-47 bomber with a 7,600-pound bomb, nuclear bomb aboard. They had a warning light flashing saying that the safety pin was not engaged. So they sent back the navigator, Captain Kolka, who went back, but he was kind of short and he didn't see the pin in the bottom, so he thought it must be on the top. So he goes to hop up on the bomb because he's short, and he grabs the emergency release lever, which causes the bomb to drop and hit the bomb bay doors for just a split second. The bomb bay doors, of course, can't handle the weight of a 7,600-pound bomb. Opens up, bombs away.
So Bruce Kolka was holding on for dear life after releasing the bomb, and he held a bag, and he said he didn't know what else he held on to, and he was nearly sucked down the bomb bay doors too.
So he spread eagle out over the land?
Yes, over holding rods or whatever he could to keep being sucked out through the bomb bay doors.
And imagine the feeling that you have that you just released a nuclear bomb that weighs 7,600 pounds on your own country below. So back in this woods is the crater that 7,600-pound bomb.
From what I understand, the plutonium core wasn't inside the bomb. It was located in another part of the plane. So
it had a TNT detonation in it. So that TNT detonation was what went off here. So.
Let's go check out the crater.
Those who make the pilgrimage to the site will usually enter from the small neighborhood next to the crater. That's actually the trespassers route. You have to actually trespass in someone's yard to get there. The proper route is far more adventurous.
So apparently at one time it was a bit of a tourist site. There's a sign here that says the foundation of Walter Craig's home. At this little bridge near the site of the Walter Craig home. And Poppins is going to talk about the Craigs and what happened that day.
So the two sisters, they were 6 and 9 years old, and their cousin were playing in a little playhouse back here in the woods. And just 20 minutes before the bomb fell, they decided to go back toward the house. If they hadn't, they wouldn't have been here today. Everyone survived this blast. The cousin had 37 stitches and spent the night at the hospital, but everyone was okay. The house, though, was shaken off its foundation and split.
And a couple passersby saw 2 mushroom clouds.
Yep, they were getting reports of 2 mushroom clouds.
So this is the site, apparently the foundation of the Walter Craig home.
Oh, wow.
So at one time it was a tourist attraction, I guess, but it's not much of a tourist attraction anymore. So there's the home. Let's see how close the bomb crater is. According to my calculations on the map, we're about 200 feet from the crater. And I know I don't know if you can see that over there is a suburban neighborhood of a few houses that are really close. It's actually really almost in someone's backyard. There's a bit of a trail here. So here we are. There's the crater.
There's the hole.
A bomb this size landed right here. It's a nuclear bomb, but the payload didn't detonate. Either it wasn't on board or it just didn't detonate. So that was it. Could have been a lot worse. We were real close to a lot of disasters, and either it was dumb luck or some great engineering or a combination of both. So that's the story of the Mars Bluff accidental nuclear bomb drop.
That's where it landed. The atom bomb accidentally dropped from a height of nearly 3 miles from an American B-47. The whole area was soon being checked with Geiger counters, but no trace of radioactive contamination has been reported. It happened at Mars Bluff, a small village in South Carolina. The burst of the conventional high explosive used to trigger the atom bomb, which was unarmed, shattered a farmhouse about 100 yards from the crater. Several other homes were damaged, and 6 people were slightly injured. All told, a lucky let-off.
So they say.
Okay, so we're gonna go back to him for a second.
I don't want to press you guys, but
Bro, I'm on a public sidewalk, dude. I'm not even on the sidewalk. I'm not doing anything.
No,
Anything here. It's actually going to put the top of the way. We don't want to be on YouTube. No, my presence here is going to help you more than you think. I'm not just saying that it's going to be sick. I'm trying to go. They don't like the camera. That's bro, there's more people here that are calling attention than just me and him. Come on, dude. Do the math.
2 and 9. Yep.
I mean, the plays out and then it comes back. The plays out, it comes back.
Well, I'll quick things up now.
Oh, that?
The guy on his good side, but it's still gonna be.
How the fuck am I causing attention? Hey, look at all these fucking people. I'm causing attention? Dude, the cops are they are the last, I'm the last person they want to deal with right now. They'd rather deal with all these people rather than me. I'm drawing attention? How the fuck am I drawing? Do you not see all the people out here right now?
It's your fault.
It's
This is
my
happening.
fault these people are here, dude? Come on, bro. This ain't my party, dude.
The more they argue with you, the more they congregate around you. It's your fault.
Dude, it's almost like talking to a public servant, dude. They just don't get it. Who calls it Zot?
Let's go with Zot.
Fuck, dude, weed. Call it what it is.
It's not weed. It's not weed. No, the vape.
I'll lay the fucking doobie right here, dude. I'm on a public goddamn side. So if I wasn't on a bike, would it cost less?
I'm sure that's helping.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's helping.
Yeah, that's helping your party.
JC, welcome.
I used to go to college parties all the time.
We're having a sub party here today. We did go over 500, but apparently my AdSense wasn't set up, so I can't finish the monetization process until I get an email back from Google, which probably won't happen on a Sunday. It'd be quick to block you on a Sunday then. Yeah.
I mean, at least that's right.
No, they have a guy inside. They always have a
dark?
local inside. They spoke to the police and they told him. All right, they probably have enough. I'm telling you, that's exactly what happens.
You got your spray on you?
Oh yeah. I got a taser on it too. But it's dead. I wasted it all.
We're at 501 now, so we are there. How videos get discovered.
Well, probably has like little charge.
Some options did open up, but still when I click on earn, my step 2 for Google AdSense is in progress, it says. And then I can be reviewed. So, go from there.
Go ahead. You good? Yeah, yeah. You too.
We're gonna go back to this one. We're gonna stop this again. It sounds like they were just doing bike patrol basically. This looks like an interesting video.
On this peninsula, a stunning thing happens. A migration of 2,000 miles waits here for favorable winds to cross 30 miles of open water. After migrating for a while, the migration that waits here joins other migration paths in central Texas. It eventually ends up in the Sierra Madres and continues to 12 mountain ranges in Mexico and Michoacan. And the monarchs weigh as much as a paperclip, and they're the only two-way migrating butterfly in existence. And this peninsula is home to some of those generations. We are at the Peninsula Point Lighthouse on the Stonington Peninsula. I'm Chuck.
I'm Poppins.
The channel's Restless Viking. Let's learn about this migration. So in the fall, thousands of monarchs can be seen here waiting to migrate for favorable conditions to cross that way to Wisconsin. So apparently the shorter days and the cooler nights are a signal to the monarch to start heading south to Mexico. And they funnel down the Stonington Peninsula until they reach this point. But then they have a long journey across the water to get to Door County in Wisconsin. So they hang out in trees. And unfortunately, we've gotten here after a few days of north wind, which is probably a favorable wind to push them south into Wisconsin. Now we have a south wind that's pushing back north. And I'm afraid we may not see many hanging in the trees. But when they do, there's thousands of them hanging in the trees here at the tip of the peninsula. And although this lighthouse has been here since 1865, we're not going to talk about it much because we're here for the monarchs. This used to be where the keepers' quarters were, but I think it caught on fire in the 50s, and then the Forest Service was in charge, so they just bulldozed it down and left just the tower. The cedar trees here at the peninsula protect the monarchs as they rest in what's called roosting trees for the journey across the water.
From mid-August to mid-September, Wildlife Unlimited volunteers come here daily and check the numbers of monarchs. They've also planted a lot of milkweed along the shoreline. That's the only plant that the monarch responds to and lays their eggs on.
So monarchs have a life cycle of 2 to 6 weeks. During that time, they mate, the female lays eggs, but this time of year, the last generation does not become reproductive, and they're said to be in what's called reproductive diapause. And this is the generation that begins the 2,000-mile journey to Mexico.
And they head to Mexico, a place they've never been before.
So they hang out in their specific places in Mexico as their wintering home in the Sierra Madres, about 2,000 feet above sea level. And today we're not having a lot of luck finding any monarchs in the cedar trees because the 3 or 4 days before today, the wind was pushing from the north to the south, which would have been their favorable wind. So they all probably got up and took off. We've seen a couple monarchs so far, but not many. So then those monarchs that left here and went to Mexico, and they kind of hang out, and then they become reproductive in January to February. And this generation, unlike the others, lives 8 to 9 months. And so by the time they decide to leave Mexico and come back north in the spring, 2 to 3 generations journey back. And it's amazing because those generations have no experience in this migration. They just pick up where they left off and they head to the same landmarks and they take the same route. And they all go to the same part up here that they started at.
But they don't even have Google Maps.
And then in mid-May, the monarchs arrive back here, but they're the 3rd to 4th generation of the ones that left. And as these monarchs come north, they find milkweed plants and they start laying eggs, creating more generations to fly north. Peninsula Point is also an important migratory bird route as well as monarch butterfly route because of the short distance from the point to Wisconsin.
Yep, the eggs are laid on the underside, and then when the caterpillar hatches, it is just microbial. It's tiny, and it starts to munch on the leaves. This is the only plant that it eats.
So here's the evidence we have of the monarchs here, even though we've only seen a couple, because most likely the schedule said that they departed a couple days ago. And I'm not sure where the wind schedule is, but I'm sure it's posted in some kind of train station for monarchs somewhere, or airport. So then the monarchs spend their time here in northern Michigan and the UP, throughout Canada. And then as August comes around, generations come back. And by the time this whole life cycle is done, there's been a couple dozen generations. And the monarchs seem to like to roost in the cedar trees. So for years, Poppins studied monarchs, and she hatched a bunch and spent time allowing them to grow so that her classroom could learn about them. And she was always interested in monarchs, but I was not, because I have a fear of butterflies. They land on you and they taste you with this big proboscis, which is disgusting to me. So, but anyways, you take her point, of course, the monarch migration is really a wonder of nature, and Stonington, the Peninsula Point Lighthouse in the Stonington Peninsula, if you're lucky, is a great time to see them. I'm Chuck.
I'm Poppins.
Thanks for listening to me and Poppins. That is a monarch.
That's a monarch.
Some pretty good videos there. I'll find another one back over here. Ooh, we got high school. We're gonna pop in, I believe.
Where'd they go?
Callahan is streaming as well.
Right here.
An hour ago he started. Oh no, he stopped. Only did a 30-minute stream. Oh, that was a while ago. It's still dark over there?
What's going on, man?
Not too much. How about you?
Good, good. How are you?
Good. Yeah. Do you guys hear the disregard? They said disregard this call.
Okay.
Did you hear it?
No.
Wow. I have doubts.
I have doubts, he said. Yeah, they always have fun with the Keene police. I think there must be a school or something there, a university. You know how I can find out? I don't know.
Yeah, you seem pretty chill, man. How long you been on this over in Keene? I've been 4 years.
Really?
Any before that? I worked in Chesterfield. Chesterfield incident for 3 years, cumulatively between the two. Yeah, you seem pretty chill, man. You seem level-headed. You know.
You left on good terms there? No, like, lawsuit and, you know, retire?
Yeah, no, I didn't. You didn't resign before you got investigated? Nope.
Keene State College.
He knows exactly what you're talking about. That's what you guys
Antioch University.
Investigation starts, they know they're gonna get fired, they're gonna get a record, then they move on to another department so it doesn't follow them, and they start their bullshit all over again.
They're pretty good at it.
I've seen it happen. I know you have, man. But you know what, dude? Look, we can tell, okay, just from meeting you, I think I've seen you before, just by listening to you, talking to you right off the bat, man, I can see you're level-headed. You're not fucking like, oh, it's your idea, fucking throw you on the ground and beat you down. And, like, you don't seem like that type of person, dude. You know what I mean? And, like, I don't judge cops, like, as a whole, though. I don't. I judge you by a person, by your profession, how you handle things. But no, yeah, that shit happens way too much, dude. So, like, you know what I always say to a cop? Either a good or bad cop. I'll tell them, I'll say, look, it only takes one cop to make your whole department look like shit. Okay? But that goes for any corruption or any corruption. Uh-oh. Have it going, man.
Where is it?
Vendors?
Vendors. Vendors.
Vendors? Yeah. Hey, be safe, brother.
I don't know. I'm not vendor. I can't.
Alright, time to stop again. Long live. A long premiere.
Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. That might best describe our next adventure. It's been uninhabited for at least 200 years, except for some lighthouse keepers and maybe a handful of squatters. Very little is documented about this 378-acre island in the middle of one of the busiest Great Lakes shipping channels. Millions pass within a couple hundred yards each year. It has one of the most photographed lighthouses in the Great Lakes. It's seen naval battles, holds the bodies of epidemic victims, and has been in the movies. But just a few hundred visit each year. Round Island is kind of forgotten in plain view. My friend Cupcake and I take a trip to the island to check it out. I'm Chuck, the channel's restless Viking. Here's our adventure. It's gone by a few names. Minnesayas, which means Little Island, and Missawanagang, I guess, which means Middle Island. And then most recently, it's Ile Ronde, from the French, meaning Round Island. And it's been in government hands since the Treaty of 1836, when the U.S. government set it aside for farming by the First Nations. And in the 1920s, there was actually a plan for that island to be incorporated in 25 miles of causeways and suspension bridges connecting Sheboygan to St. Ignace. It was an alternate plan instead of the Mackinac Bridge, but it never came to fruition. Instead, we had the 5-mile suspension span of the Mackinac Bridge. I guess crazy engineering won out. One of the busiest straits in the Great Lakes.
Like freaking media's version of Cupcake.
The past couple of years, that has been
He's been
an
working
island, the
it.
lighthouse.
He's been
But
out
I
there
see the
with,
land, the
NCC
water's
much.
receded enough that you can walk to it from the island. But they just put those large sea rocks there to build it up so that the high water wouldn't take the lighthouse. It was in danger of falling in. So thanks to the Round Island Historic Preservation Society, Round Island Light Preservation Society, I guess.
We'll pick 6 by San Francisco.
We decided to circle the island by boat and find the sandy cove on the east end.
So back when Mackinac Island became a state park, the U.S. government gave the state of Michigan Round Island. And they had some plans with the nice sandy beaches. They were going to put some facilities here and make it part of the state park. Nice place for vacationers to come to, but plan never came to fruition. And I think it was in the 60s or 70s, the state of Michigan gave it back to the federal government. Now it's under the Hiawatha National Forest as a wilderness area.
You kind of get lost in a cheap paradise when sauntering around the rocky beaches of these uninhabited Great Lakes islands. And Cupcake seemed to be getting all island paradisey.
I have a little bit of an idea why it's called Cupcake.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah.
I think I'm down in the Pacific Islands, or maybe I don't know what's in the Pacific Islands. I've never been there.
Probably like the Azores. No, Pacific Islands. Oh, Hawaii.
Yeah, Hawaii.
The Galapagos.
Tahiti.
Tahiti. There you go.
Adventures in Paradise for all you old people that remember that TV show back from the 56, 57 maybe.
No.
James A. Missionary.
So as we made our way around Round Island, see what I did there? Come up on Mackinac Island. See the fort up on the hill. You can dress them up.
Can't take them anywhere.
Well, you can. Just be ready to be a little embarrassed. So Round Island, 380 some acres and 3 miles of shoreline around the island. And it's an alternative view of Mackinac Island.
Yeah.
And the accommodations here are way cheaper. So descriptions of the island on the map, there's supposed to be a 80-foot cliff on this side. At least that's what the descriptions, some of the descriptions say. And there's your cliff. It's kind of more like a really steep hill. So we're gonna head back to the boat.
There's these islands out here, especially in Lake Michigan, are just really fun to kind of poke around and just do a lazy day thing. You know, it's pretty out here. Super clear water.
Definitely. Maybe this way?
Yeah. Before you hit the throttle, make sure you're in the boat there, Skipper.
Well, we could have, but we're just not going to come.
Duncan Bay, both houses, Lorianne.
So right about 1814, Captain Arthur Sinclair was dispatched on an expedition to retake Fort Mackinac right over there. The British had taken it in the beginning of the War of 1812. And rumor has it that he kind of snuck in here to the straits between Bob Lowe and Round Island. I guess they're called the Beaublanc Straits. And he was trying to figure out a way to retake the fort, and I guess his naval guns tried to bombard the fort, but apparently the fort had longer range, so they were just putting cannonballs into the gardens of the village, and they weren't really getting to the fort. So apparently they went here to Round Island to the high spot to set up a gun emplacement. Now, I haven't found a lot of documentation about this, but I have found a couple places that reference the fact that a few men went up there to put some artillery batteries up there, as well as to observe the enemy. And Round Island, I don't believe, was wooded back then. It was kind of an open field. They get up there and there's some activity, and the Brits notice it over here. So they dispatch, and I kid you not, this is what they say, a couple hundred canoes, boats, and bateaus to go across this half-mile strait to kick the Americans off the island. And the Americans saw that 200 canoes, 200 to 300 canoes coming, and so they just kind of beat feet back to where they had landed on the island and got out of there. And then apparently the British spent their time picking raspberries because the island was full of raspberries. So, and then in the cholera epidemic of 1832, came up the St. Lawrence Seaway and got into the Great Lakes, and they were pretty afraid of this epidemic. So if you were a ship and you were heading into Mackinac, you had any dead bodies, you could not dock at Mackinac. So you were told to come across and to bury the dead bodies here on Round Island. So, and I don't know how many, but apparently quite a few bodies were buried there. So, but over there is the Round Island Lighthouse, made famous by the Somewhere in Time video. Christopher Reeves and some chick that kissed there. So whatever.
Yeah, I forgot about that movie. It was a good movie.
Was it? Hang on, Cupcake.
All right, give her hell.
This bit of land that extends northwest of the island was a significant hazard for ships. In 1895, a carpenter from Detroit, Frank Rounds, started construction of the light after finishing work on the Grand Hotel. The first floor contained the boilers, coal bunker, and pantry. The second and third floors were living area for the keepers and their families. One of the third floor bedrooms was reserved for those rescued from the Round Island Passage.
So this is rebuilt to the period. They got a new piece of steel for it, and they just made it in the winter and brought it back out. I saw it on their Facebook page.
The oil house and privy still exist on site. The light was automated in 1924, but a sole caretaker stayed at the station until 1947. The lighthouse was abandoned when the passage light was built near Mackinac Island Harbor. As is the story of many Great Lakes lighthouses, vandals and pillagers took over until October of 1972.
Oh yeah, during a severe storm, October 1972, southwest corner.
The near destruction of the lighthouse caused local support to well up, and efforts to stabilize and restore the lighthouse picked up momentum.
So yeah, here we are, Round Island. Just kind of, we just finished shooting the lighthouse, and now we're requested to take a survey, which is kind of surprising because there's nobody here. So
How often do you get on a remote island and somebody wants to survey you?
so she just came up to you and said, "Would you like to take a survey?"
Yeah, she didn't even say, "Hey, my name's so-and-so." Just you're taking a survey. It's very forceful.
Wow, and you're with
The Forest Service.
the Forest Service, and you're doing a recreational use survey?
Yes.
And you're backup?
Yep.
What do you got there?
I'm holding some bones. We got a biologist with us.
Oh, really?
We're
Wow.
gonna go see what it belongs
Where's
to.
the biologist at? Well, there you go. Our survey with the National Forest Service is done. It's Round Island. What do you think, Cupcake?
I think it's kind of a pretty neat spot.
It is,
It really
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
There's a couple boats that just pulled up, but all practical purposes,
good,
you've got
man.
2 or
We used
3
to go
miles
to a
of
little place in the
nobody on
northern-
the beach.
the
Yeah,
Upper
exactly.
Peninsula.
Which is not uncommon for out on the islands.
Perch
Kayak, private boat. You can even rent kayaks to come over
pretty
here
large
from
lake
the
in the,
someplace in Mackinac Island.
Ottawa
So
National
yeah, come out,
Forest.
spend a night or two. Hey, I heard a few of you haven't subscribed yet.
What's with that?
Yeah, so go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the flip side. But till our next adventure, Godspeed.
Back to breaking the law. Find a new one.
Benders. I think it's Benders.
Oh, another good raid, huh? Well, except for me, I lost. It's like Rockley, Jared, Jody, Oklahoma, all won. The rest of us can F off. What kind of pirates do you think you are?
Wheels over here.
Oh, I'm still on cool down. Another minute. There's one called Higgins Lake right in the middle of the Minton of the Lower Peninsula in Houghton Lake, but Higgins is a spring-fed lake with some very deep depths that you can still see the bottom.
Probably there are other
So
covers in
because it's
the bottom.
spring-fed, it's crystal clear. Alright, found a new video. Let's stop this one again. This one might be getting interesting here, so we'll come back to it. Oops.
Upper Peninsula of Michigan, but just like any other place.
Let's start it over. You guys didn't hear that. They've got it set now to where it only pulls the sound from the active tab.
The Upper Peninsula of Michigan is a historic place. Back in the 19th century, it had double the population it has today. Many people in Michigan look fondly on the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, but just like any other place that's been touched by humans, there's also a dark history. And the dark history of the Upper Peninsula of Michigan isn't really in a lot of history books. But the only governor of Michigan that came from the UP, Chase Osborne, wrote a little bit about its dark history. And if you dig deep enough, you can find a lot of stories. And one story survives about the good people of Fayette, Michigan. This is a story about ordinary citizens who rose up to destroy the criminal gang. I'm Chuck.
I'm Bobbin.
The channel's Restless Viking. Let's explore the story.
Oh, when I was young, before the war was won, I wanted the metal, the hollow machine. Oh, the mighty gun.
Yeah, we reset on Friday the 13th.
In 1864, the railroad came here, and then by 1867,
Whoever has the most on
first
New Year's
furnace
Eve
was
will win the
built.
Voodoo Piggy up in the upper right corner.
So having this plant, this factory, having this process on Lake Michigan, they were able to get the pig iron to the metropolitan areas of Chicago and Detroit much easier than using Lake Superior. So this is where the railroad came in. They also had a machine shop, blacksmith shop. The company store is down here. So the superintendent lived up there along with the elite. The machinists worked and lived here, and then the laborers lived up on the hill in log cabin, and the doctor lived here. So this is the 19-room hotel. Here they had the
Everybody's
music hall
poor,
and
yeah.
the meeting place.
But the story we're going to tell about the good people of Fayette was a dark one. And it was relayed to us by a lady named Adele Elliott, who was a resident of the area during those times. Adele describes Fayette as being a place of good citizens,
You can't
of
have a
upstanding
space between the
citizens.
exclamation
And in
point and
fact,
the
they
yeah.
wouldn't let any bars in Fayette except for the one that was at the hotel. And even though they kept the saloons and the houses of ill out of Fayette, saloons and stockades started popping up outside of town. But Miss Elliott also describes Fayette as being a town that was being overcome by
There we
stockades and
go.
saloons.
You can't have the ad in there.
The
That's why it
stockades
kept
were
going. Don't
where they
use
kept the
ad.
sex slaves, where they forced young ladies
Here you go, JC. You got a
to
1,000.
perform. And many of the men of Fayette had families, wives and children, and they were blowing their money on drinking, gambling, song, and women. And that was a problem. But then in August of 1880, a young girl escaped from a stockade owned by a man named Jim Summers in Sac Bay. And she wandered for 2 days until she got to Fayette. And she tried to take refuge with the deputy sheriff. But soon, outside of his house, Jim Summers was waiting with a buggy, and she was brought back to the stockade. So the citizens of Fayette realized that they couldn't trust those that were appointed to uphold the law for them.
Oh, wow.
And so the citizens of
Kids
Fayette had
retirements
a
even
meeting,
then.
and they were going to make it right.
So the crowd was pretty riled up, and they grabbed anything that could be a weapon, mop handles, tools, a rolling pin, or a washer, and they went to go purge Summers' gang. They headed east from Fayette about a mile to the bar of Pig Iron Fred, and they dispatched him. And I don't know, there's no record, but
There you go.
I think it's safe to assume they killed some of them. And then they headed south 6 miles to Sac Bay. There isn't much that we can
Protecting
find from
sex
Sac Bay, but there are
trafficking
some
even
old
back
buildings.
then.
There's a small cemetery. And there's a little county park. So they got to the stockade here at Sac Bay, and they laid waste to the place. They burned it down and they destroyed everything, and they freed the girls. And as for Jim Summers, they beat him to a bloody pulp. And they left his body here on the beach because they knew he was gonna die. But the mystery of all this is, when his friends came back to give him a proper burial the next day, he was gone. And that's the story of the Sac Bay Stockade and the citizens of Fayette, showing people what citizens can do when they really need to do it. I'm Chuck
I'm Poppin.
from Fayette and Sac Bay, Michigan.
I like when
Thanks
this
for
came-
coming
I just
along.
came
We'll
across
catch you
this
next
today.
time.
This guy's called the Restless Viking. He finds like historical places in Michigan and does short videos on it.
Yeah, I'll be all right.
Cops are good guys.
Yeah. Back the blue until it happens to you.
Going to the police academy in the summer.
Good luck.
I want to be one of these guys.
Back the blue until it happens to you. Make sure you deep throat the whole boot.
Fucking kids, man.
Man, they lick boots hard, huh? They lick the boots real hard for you guys.
Yeah, they don't want to go to fucking jail for some bullshit.
They're causing a disturbance.
MCC's got a stream going too.
What's happening right here? What's this right here? That's how their boots get shiny. Oh, it's a pullover.
Good night.
Let's check out MCC real quick.
This is Michigan Constitutional Crusader out here. Downtown Vassar. Doing a little walkabout.
A little bit too early, I think they're or a little bit late. This is live right now. He's premiering right now, guys. Good pop in there, let him know I sent you. You see him? Hey, we were just up in that area this summer. Vassar's right by Frankenmuth. Just north. Go to the beach. What did I do?
Paul the Barber. Oh, that's cool. It's a kid's barber chair. It's an airplane. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
2 more minutes, Jared.
Check out the airplane for kids' haircuts.
Oh, sweet.
Isn't it? It's an old pedal.
Oh, radio flyer pedal.
Yeah. You can see the pedals are still on the bottom.
Oh, yeah, they are.
What does it say?
That's cool.
You just mounted it on that pedestal.
Yeah, so they really
for
destroyed
haircuts.
the piece.
That's cool.
That's freaking awesome.
Yep.
It just says out with freaking media. It doesn't say when he did it.
Popcorn. Ticket to paradise.
Oh, there's people in there.
Sure. Getting ready for matinee.
One with a mask, one without.
Oh,
Yeah.
So many liberals up there.
Here's the North Pavilion.
Yeah.
See North Pavilion.
Got the creek running through
I don't know
town.
what that is, but okay. We got a creek running through the town.
Better than a crook, right?
Better than a crook. That's right.
Oh, it looks like most places are closed.
But not anymore. That place is open.
Oh, yeah. They got the mailbox mounted to a freaking ladder.
I'm giving all mine away though.
Uh-oh.
Veterans Memorial.
Nice, Ballin. They're not even going to answer you.
Yeah, there's
Oh, you got to
City
use
Hall
the
over
number
there.
8.
Oh, way
Yeah.
over there. We're on the other side of the bridge.
Yeah. I guess.
So we walk
Nice
back
one.
up, then drive. Yep.
At least it tells you now. I mean, with other ones, you just don't know why it didn't work. This tells you exactly why it didn't work.
Yep.
Yeah, like that.
I guess not. What, she flipped you off? Damn. That's messed up.
Not know the law.
Or care about it.
Right, or care about it.
One of the two. Or both.
Oh, Jared, there you go. You have to do exclamation point accept or deny.
Why am I so hurt today?
And the duel will be on.
Life fitness.
The most you're risking is $1,000.
Anybody fit the thing?
There you go.
Oh, yeah,
I still think it
in the
makes you
back
wait
there
the 2 minutes
lifting
to
weights,
change
looks
your
like.
mind. Nope, there it goes. Ooh, Jared won.
All guests must pay the $5 day pass.
Chopper. Here, Chopper, I'll duel you.
There's somebody there.
Yeah.
The work's get out.
Yeah.
Getting this buck spawn.
Cool, Chopper.
Getting his buff on, watching football. Gonna be a linebacker.
A rear packer?
A rear packer. This is the scrapbook store. We're closed.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Work time is here.
Oh, it's got to be up to 1,000. Okay. Fine.
They got something up.
Try this again. Sorry, Chopper. Not ready yet. Apparently, the most you can do is 1,000.
Yeah.
I'm done. Oh, I'm done.
Now it's gonna make me cool down.
Living life gifts.
It's ice too.
A closed down hair salon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on cooldown still. I guess everybody has to wait when somebody does a duel.
By gold.
Oh, they buy gold.
One more try in about 30 seconds. I'll have it ready. Duel. It's ready.
What?
Right.
They don't have any jewelry displays really in the window.
No?
No, they got the display cabinets towards the lobby.
I give you that consent.
Huh.
But you can see
Penalty
you get
coins.
Genuine diamond
You
earrings.
can lose if you get 0 to 25 on the gamble. That's the only thing. Well, and then slots. You lose almost every
They're
time.
made in America. Concepts for sensitive ears. Right there, you know, you get a little chip off of a diamond. Right there.
Huh.
There you go.
Genuine
Now you
diamond
can
chip.
accept, Chopper. One more time. You gotta wait till it offers you the fight. Oh, there we go. It did. It took
You
it in
didn't see
here.
anybody
Okay,
in
yeah.
there?
Sorry.
Yeah, he was walking.
I'm
towards the
behind
back.
on chat.
Oh,
He
yeah.
won the
Okay.
duel.
No, he went
Good
all
job.
the way into the back.
Yeah, he went in the back room.
Oh, yeah, so you can park in the back and come in. Oh, there's a lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can park in the back lot. Walk in. Inside.
Yeah, looks that way.
Maybe. Maybe that's an employee entrance only.
I don't know.
gotten in some serious competitions. Come on, I'm super serial. Hey, I finally won a fucking.
Oh, everything's closed around here. Pet grooming, that's closed.
Dirty's falling behind now.
Christmas cafe. Cafe. Holy cow. Stop it. What? It's a nice little cafe. Huh? I didn't say anything. They don't have very many tables for being a cafe.
No, they don't.
No, I rolled a 4. Nice roll, Jared. Man, 71,000. Browns may come back and beat San Francisco.
That van got hit hard or hit something hard.
Big time. You can change your name. I don't even want to get into how you do it, but eat your broccoli.
How's it going?
Oh, it'll do with the ad or without.
Yep.
That's cool. Number
Whatever
one
I
again.
see. Whatever I see. Yep. Right on. Yep.
What's YouTube channel?
MCC. Yep.
What do you guys do?
Just walk around, record in public.
Right on. Some asshole called that. You think that?
That is what gets the views.
Yeah, I kind of wondered. We thought we'd stop and say hey, and I was kind of curious.
No, luckily the most you can lose is the 1,000.
Yep.
I might have to adjust that where you can
Michigan
do a little bit
Constitutional
more than
Crusader,
that.
MCC.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
All right, have a good one.
Let me see.
Yep, thank you.
Oh, silly putty. Next. What do you mean?
Ooh, somebody getting their hair done did right there. Yeah.
Jared, Jody, eat your broccoli, Oklahoma. Mine don't count. Dirty's down to number 8.
Two somebody's. There's one near, there's one near.
Mine don't count though, so my indoctrination and Doc Nation, those don't count.
Two people getting the hair done did over there.
The Browns maybe.
Were they freaking out the last time?
Win this.
Yeah, you can tell they weren't comfortable with standing there.
Right. Mid-state title service. Oh, there's somebody right there. Oh, another classic toy. Fire truck.
Nope, still 252
That's cool,
seconds
old
to
fire
go.
truck.
I think that's still cooling down too, Chopper. Don't know. Wonder if that's got a lower cooldown than the Gamble does. Jody's still thinking whether or not he wants to accept it. So he made a big circle. Isn't that the credit union he passed already? Trying to fire up the bank workers in there, the credit union workers. Yeah, it might be. Eat your broccoli, you're right.
Oh, Maverick.
Yep.
Sounds good too.
Now it's a pickup. Now the Ford Maverick's a pickup.
That old Maverick sounds good.
Tiny pickup.
That old Maverick sounds good. Got a 302 in it? Right on.
Mador. Welcome, buddy. Here.
What's that? Yeah. Yeah, it's got a 302 in it.
302? Nice. It's not all rusted out.
Yeah, it's in good shape.
Yeah, it is.
Definitely not a Michigan car.
No. Either that or it's a garage cab all year or all winter.
I never drove it in the winter.
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of here.
Ooh. He does these circles
On to the
sometimes,
next
man.
spot.
the Quincy Dredge number 2 and
Torch Lake. Kind of cool to do this one by boat.
Torch Lake.
Right, Poppins?
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm getting geared up.
We're a little out of practice though, so bear with us. Lake Lincoln's actually been on the super fun cleanup list for decades. And the reason for Torch Lake being a super fun cleanup site is because of all that grassy area over there is actually mine waste, or what we call stamp sand. So if you look at the map of Torch Lake, you can see all of this is stamp sand. Down here it's all stamp sand, and then this big piece is stamp sand. Kind of looks like regular sand. That's the result of mining waste. But what we're gonna go find is an interesting invention used to take that stamp sand and find even more copper. So we're going to see Quincy Dredge number 2. And you kind of might be wondering what happened to number 1. Well, it's down under there somewhere in like 100 feet of lake water. So that over there is a smelting plant. So this side, this part was used, it housed the big machinery and the motors and the vacuum. It's basically a floating building, I guess.
Oh, look at that.
So this part up front is actually a vacuum head. And then the sand gets sucked into the pipe, and then the water is expelled over the sides, and the sand was sent on a pipeline, I believe, down that way to get processed. You can see where the operator sat. It would suck up about 10,000 tons of sand per day.
What did Matt say?
Poppins wants to get away from the leaning structure. I don't know why. So yeah, the Quincy Dredge number 2. We're pursuing oddities of the Keweenaw Peninsula. And our next oddity that we're going to visit is actually where we plan to camp. It's a campground that is
Let's try this
old mine.
Now that I've given
Nick started the unique copper mine campground late last year. There still seems to be a lot to do at the camp, but you can rent a side-by-side and explore the peninsula.
If I can take it back now, if he wants to risk it.
The Old Meek mine officially opened in 1903 and was a hub for transportation on the peninsula. It closed in 1966. You can explore the ruins of the camp and head to nearby Mohawk for some food and drink. It's centrally located to all the obscurities of the Keweenaw Peninsula.
Here you go, Matt.
Next up, self-guided mine tour. Exciting. It's one of the oldest copper mines in the Keweenaw. It held on for 40 years, but never made a profit for investors. We're doing a self-guided tour now of the Delaware mine.
There's a lot of people up in the UP that have pet skunks. They just have their scent gland taken out. They still smell a little bit, but not like a regular skunk. Except that duel, Matt.
So self-guided, which makes it pretty darn cool. So let's go down the 100 steps.
Exclamation point accept.
This is the Vikings' first authorized mine tour. So when miners come down to an area, they tend to drift off and look for copper in different areas. And this is a drift. It's about 200 feet that kind of goes to nowhere. There was no copper in there, so they stopped drifting in that direction. And they went that way. One of Delaware's water-filled shafts reaches over 1/4 mile into the earth. That's where we came from. It doesn't take long when you drop down into the mine to run into water, but some wreck divers went down in there and explored the mine even further.
Then it said 9 levels are filled with water.
This area is called a stoop. It's where they were mining
Matt must
along
have
and
just
they found
popped
a nice
in and then
little vein
left.
of copper. And apparently this area had 1.5% copper. Then the tour turns spooky as we enter the area that's lit as it would have been in the 1870s. Then you come to the end of the line. So that was the Delaware mine tour. On to our next excursion.
I think
I'm a little out of breath from walking upstairs again.
well, Jody's back.
So now we're headed to Gay, Michigan, where there's a famous bar, world famous bar, and as well as the Gay Sands on the shore of Lake Superior, where stamp sand was dumped in the lake. Apparently it's an environmental hazard today, but it's also cool to drive on. So let's go visit that. It's not every day you find a place that's nothing but pollution. It's a tourist attraction. We're at the Gay Sands. The Black Shore juts out into Lake Superior on a scale that was a bit more unsettling than I expected. So yeah, a few miles of Old stamp sand used for the copper mining. And you can come out here with the right vehicle and just kind of drive on it. And then there's beautiful Lake Superior, so it's kind of like an industrial beach. And I think the old stamp mill might be over there where the smokestack is. And then all this waste, as far as the eye can see that way, is all the waste from the stamp sands. The stamp mills operated until 1932 and dumped a combined 25 million tons of stamp sand in Lake Superior. The Black Beach has crawled south since then, swallowing everything in its path, including Buffalo Reef, a former spawning haven for lake trout and whitefish. Poppins is insisting on being a little more adventurous.
I want to check out the stamp mill right here.
Our old friend with the graffiti. Bettegree. Home of the singing sands, I guess. We're going to try to get him to sing, but no guarantees we're going to be successful. Local legend says that a Native American maiden lost her lover to the lake, and you can still help her call for him by making the sand sing. Definitely singing. The sand does seem to have a low bark if you stir it a bit.
Get your pants away!
Poppins' Adventure Pants.
They dry quickly.
I'm going to write a book about her sometime. Sweet Poppins and her Adventure Pants travels. So a trip out to the end of the Keweenaw Peninsula is kind of obscure. Poppins is being a good sport. She's getting tossed around. High Rock Bay is one of those places that's difficult enough to get to that most tourists stay away. I guess I should pop her in four-wheel drive. That was kind of close. But it is unique enough that a casual adventurer has to journey to the tip of the Keweenaw for bragging rights and for the great view. Poppins and I reveled in our lunch and melted into the view. Nearby, a former NASA rocket test site still has some ruins and a plaque. It's not completely remote. There's a lot of people here, but...
You have anti-cheat on?
Campground, isn't it, Poppins?
Yes, except for the bugs, but I'll get over it.
I just try and give somebody a startup because you only get 100 after 5 minutes being in the chat.
Back in 99, we were cutting pine and sending it down the stream.
I found a green one over there.
Flies must be bad with that net on her face.
Here we are launching the boat, going to Copper Harbor Lighthouse. And he's off to park. I'm holding the boat with my foot. Let's hope there isn't a precarious situation. The bug nets have a nice feature with a big zipper right here at the neck. There's a mosquito now. They're my evil villains.
So one of the unique oddities that you can visit is the Copper Harbor Lighthouse, but apparently you can't drive there because the road is closed to the public. But out of this harbor, this marina, the Copper Harbor State Marina, get on a launch and take a tour of the Copper Harbor Lighthouse, which is right over there. It's about a 15-minute ride.
And there's fewer bugs out on the water, thank God.
She doesn't like bugs. It's kind of sweet, like a French pastry. So I do believe this is the dock where the launch comes, and we got to find a spot that's not that dock.
Oh, that sounds cool,
Hopefully you can
friends.
see the map, but we're over here at the lighthouse. You can see all the hazards where some of the lava eroded, the lava tubes eroded, but you come in right here. There's a couple range lights. So the area was first discovered by Douglas Houghton. Brought a party up here, an expedition party, and they explored the area and they found copper, lots of copper. And he died just down the way at Eagle River. Boat capsized in a gale.
So over here is Fort Wilkins, and that is the law and order of the area. Back in the mid-1800s when all the mining took place, there weren't any roads or railroads built up here yet, and so shipping was the only way for them to traverse this area and bug nets.
It's beautiful up there. You got to do it in the summertime, though.
Since we took our own boat, it was quiet, with that slow, windy peace you get on a Great Lake shore. But since the tour launch hadn't arrived, the buildings were locked.
It's like Tampa and Detroit started.
All right, so let's head back. That was the Copper Harbor Lighthouse. Not easy to get to. Pretty cool, though. So here's the buoy that we heard from the lighthouse.
We're in Lake Superior.
I still get excited about maritime stuff I've seen 100 times. I'm kind of a dork like that. Up next is the Devil's Wash Tub along the shores of Lake Superior. So let's go check it out.
Some call it the sloshing whatnot. It's a blowhole that's endlessly exciting during rough seas, and a sloshing not much during calm weather. Where are we at, Poppins?
We're at the Devil's Wash Tub.
Did you bring me here to do laundry?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Cold Lake Superior water kept us from swimming in it today, but Ingrid stopped by. She goes to college nearby and was showing her family the sights. So who's Ingrid? Are you Ingrid? So Ingrid here has jumped in the lake and swam in to the wash tub. You must go to, do you go to school up here, live up here? Did they come up to visit? And you're showing them all the things you shouldn't do that you've been doing? I think we're going to stop at the jam pot, mostly because Poppins wants to stop. I've actually never been there, but it's not really the style of the jam.
Yeah, it's already starting to change up in even the lower parts of Michigan.
To go check out places like the jam pot, because everybody.
I think I'm going to take the through the woods route to work next week so you guys can see it.
Goes there, but you know what? We're going to go there too, and we're going to do one of those YouTuber sampler food things in our vehicle after we get something there. We're going to talk about how lovely it is and kind of analyze it. So off to the jam pot. So apparently there is no line at the jam pot. I guess there usually is, but it's 20 minutes before they open, and we're here. So here we are. In 1983, a couple lay Catholics living in Detroit explored the UP and found a small rundown resort. They bought it and developed the Holy Transfiguration Skeet, a Byzantine Catholic monastery. They have supported the monastery selling jams and baked goods at the Jam Pot.
They weren't even priests when they came up here, but it was a vision. And they came up here and land was cheap, and it was remote. Yeah. And most monasteries in the world are kind of in remote places, So they came up here basically nothing.
We got our vittles from the jam pot, but that's not the obscure, unique part. We're going to do that a little later. So what did you get, Poppins?
We have a nut mix, caramel cashew for me, and then for my favorite father, gooseberry jam.
May the skin of the gooseberry always cover the eyes of your enemy.
Yep.
So we're going to head out, and we're going to come back tonight for some fun. One of the founders, Father Basil, passed away last November. 3 monks are left, and since their church belongs to the Ukrainian metropoly, they are actively seeking monks from Ukraine. We attended their evening prayer, so if you get a chance, stop by for one of their public services. It's an enlightening treat.
That is the Restless Viking. Find another one of their videos.
Hey. All right. Yeah, you gotta go that way. Go that way. Oh, that's gonna be good.
Yeah, the brother, punch the brother.
All right, let's go. Let's go right now.
Punk. Flat sucks, man. Yeah, jam pot owned by monks.
I'm not from around here at all. That's why I'm asking. Well, if you're not sure, then I guess I'm good. Saturday after Thank you. Have a fantastic evening, my friend. Ride fast. Take chances. Let's go do it, my friend. I told you I'm sorry that I almost hit your friend. I didn't know that. I did. All right. Well then, hey. So you don't need to get rammed. Let's go have a good time instead. Come on. Let's go. Thank you, my friend. Yeah.
Lost your whole 100 there. Playing slots.
Lady cop.
I guess so. All right. You got the video ready. I'm gonna pause him again.
You can find some obscure stuff in the Great Lakes, especially on the remote islands. People on remote islands can be interesting, and as Poppins says, people can live to their full potential without the
Vikings in
constraints of
northern Michigan.
mainland society to hold them back. And I think she's right. Out there is a curious obscurity left by an islander who was also an Icelander, and he no doubt affected your life and my life. Most people will tell you that an eccentric wealthy guy left this obscurity, but the story, as usual, is far more interesting. Out there's our next adventure, Thordarson's Island. Today it's known as Rock Island State Park. I'm Chuck.
I'm Poppins.
Channel's Restless Viking. Let's go on an adventure. To get to Rock Island, you first have to present yourself there to the Washington Island ticket booth. You can purchase tickets both to Washington Island and to Rock Island. But first, you have to get to Washington Island.
Barry? Right alongside the red one in the middle there, please.
All right, thank you.
Madonna.
You can take your vehicle to Washington Island.
But you can't take it to Rock Island.
Then you'll drive
I appreciate it,
all
Jared.
the way across Washington Island. Then you arrive at Jackson Harbor. If you have some time, you can check out the Jackson Harbor Maritime Museum. And there's no entrance fee to get into Rock Island, which is pretty cool. You don't even need a state park sticker to park. Thank you.
Did I miss a heist? Damn it.
And then finally, it's a short ferry ride across from Jackson Harbor to Rock Island. It's quite a travel journey. Kind of the first impression of Rock Island is kind of impressive because you run into the Thordarson boathouse. But on our way in, Poppins and I noticed that there is a sailboat listing over there because it looks like they're beached. So we're gonna go walk over there and see what's going on. Shall we, Poppins?
Yes.
It's like a what, Poppins?
It's like a fairy forest.
We might see fairies.
Fairies are in Saugatuck.
The things you run into on a Great Lakes island. Just as a note, this passage is really shallow. There's two spits of land that come from Washington Island to Rock Island. And you can kind of ground your sailboat, and that's never any fun. That's good.
So, about roughly same distance.
Yeah.
Where we were, and we're like, let's go check it out. Because we heard it's
Pretty cool,
it's
yeah.
a beautiful island.
Yeah, unfortunately, the family, their boat got stuck last night. Their sonar said they were in 18 foot of water, but you know, in these remote parts of the Great Lakes, those charts really can't be trusted. So, has a little adventure to see someone having a more cool adventure than me. So we're heading back, check out the Thordarson estate. Jacques Thordarson built that. He was born in 1867 in Iceland, and his parents emigrated to the United States in 1873. And his father died soon after. His teacher changed his name to Chester because it was more friendly as an American to have that name instead of Jacques. And they were poor. And Chester was only able to attend school until the 4th grade. And when Chester was 18, he followed his sister to Chicago to try to find work. But he didn't find any immediately, so, and get this, at the age of 18, he started the 4th grade with the Chicago Public Schools. And he attended school from the 4th to the 6th grade, finishing the 6th grade when he was 20 years old. And then Chester landed to what he called kind of his dream job in electrical manufacturing. And that dream job paid Chester $4 a week. He spent $2 on a place to stay, $1 on meals, and then he spent $1 on books. Seems like poor life choices to spend so much of your income on books, but he took those books and he created an 11,000 volume library
that he kept in here. When he passed away in 1945, his book collection was estimated to be worth $1 million. Today, that estimate is $15.1 million in books. Fire is one of the best things for the souls of men, and so is the sight of the sun, if a man manages to keep his health and live vigorously. This building is reminiscent of El Ting, which is the Icelandic Parliament building in his home Iceland. The volumes that he kept in here were on the subjects of his native Iceland, of science and scientific thought and nature. Crazy cool in here. Some of the original furniture here was sold off from the estate, and then it was bought back later and brought back here. And it's pretty amazing.
Wow. Hand-carved furniture.
This is why people collect rocks.
That is a lot of camping gear.
Boathouse too.
Wow, it's pretty impressive for the middle of nowhere.
No.
Cookhouse for the estate used to be right here.
Swedes, Finns.
Well, remember how he got his dream job in electrical manufacturing?
One Viking
Well,
from Iceland.
he apparently loved electricity and loved experimenting with it. He had over 100 inventions, and he designed and built the world's first and only 1,000,000-volt transformer. He won a gold medal at the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis. His work in electrical grid-related products, transformers, and other pieces of the electrical grid were instrumental in today's electrical grid. He started Thordarson Electrical Manufacturing in 1905, just 8 years after he graduated from the 6th grade. He started the Thordarson estate here on Rock Island in 1910 when he began buying up all the land. And
all the Polish are down in Hamtramck, Detroit.
he managed to build a small replica Icelandic village, complete with a boathouse, a greenhouse, a cookhouse, some lodging. He wasn't completely finished, but he did build a lot of impressive structures.
He had a whole team of Icelanders that helped him out.
And you know, Icelanders, they're keen to do weird things in the middle of nowhere. So rumor has it, there's carvings on the face of the bluff here. And I didn't really see anything until you look closely. Oh, can you see that right there? Pretty intricate carving there. And there's one right here. It's not like your ultimate tourist thing. You got to kind of get wet, right, Poppins? That's why Poppins always brings extra shoes. And Chester had plans to do a lot more, like a hotel and a lot more stone buildings, but in 1945, Chester died in Chicago of heart failure. And he's buried here.
1945.
Chester Jacques Thordarson. That's the story of a guy who graduated from the 6th grade from the public school at 20 years old. He earned an honorary doctorate from the University of Wisconsin and the University of Iceland. Pretty impressive life. So today the island is Rock Island State Park with a little bit of land for the lighthouse. And Thordarson's Estate, considered the Thordarson Estate Historic District, and it's on the National Register of Historic Places. And today the Friends of
Not
Rock
really,
Island
Chopper.
take
You
care
can
of
wade in it.
Godspeed to them.
I mean,
and all the work that they do.
I did as a kid, but it stays pretty, at least up on the northern part like that, up by the straits and stuff where they're at on the southern side of Upper Peninsula. It's pretty cold.
Volunteering weeks at a time.
Ooh, I'm the only one that won
sometimes,
anything.
and all the effort they put into it. You guys are pretty cool. I'm Chuck.
I'm Poppins.
Channel's Restless Viking. Thanks for watching.
Angel Street?
HOC.
Yo, man, you got a cigarette to bum off here?
Yeah. Free Talk Live.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'll take your lunch. I'll borrow your lunch too.
Yeah, man. What you listening to there?
Oh, this is Free Talk Live. You never heard of them? You can call in. You can say whatever you want, man. It's free talk, free speech.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
The Cold War started during the end of World War II. It pitted the Soviet Union against the US and its allies. Through a string of missteps, disagreements, and subversive actions, the Iron Curtain began descending across Europe. And by 1949, the Soviets tested their first nuclear bomb. Over the next 3 decades, the Soviets spent 50% more than the US to build a wildly destructive military. The United States, acting on an abundance of fear, tried to keep up, resulting in an arms race to nowhere. An arms race that assured complete destruction of both sides. The sleepy wilderness of the Upper Peninsula of Michigan became a part of this arms race. Starting during World War II and in defense of the Sioux Locks, a small air defense base soon became a collection of Air Force bases that possessed enough destructive power to level more than 300 major cities. And during the climax of the Cold War, I was a toddler living on one of these bases, under the watchful eye of my parents and Air Force security forces. But by 1975, technology in the world had raced past the military infrastructure here, and then another decline of a major human undertaking that seems to always haunt the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. We're going to take a look at what's left and consider the amazing human effort that went into the Eastern UP's defense trifecta. I'm the Viking, and I'm joined by Poppins. The channel is Restless Viking, so subscribe, like, and enjoy the journey.
We are at Rako Airfield, which was an auxiliary airfield designed around World War II so that aircraft would have a place to land and refuel on their way up to Alaska. Also, there are pads here for anti-aircraft guns so that they were protecting the Sioux Locks. Later, during the Cold War, they had Bomark missiles, which were designed to take out nuclear bombers all across North America.
So here at Rako Field, as Poppins mentioned, it was used as an anti-aircraft installation for any possible bombing runs that came at the Sioux Locks. And I believe they had Skysweeper anti-aircraft gun emplacements, probably here. They used to have cylinders. I think, I've heard that this is a cap for the cylinders. I don't know if that's true. I think this is actually where they emplaced the anti-aircraft guns. Yeah. Yep. So this was the anti-aircraft gun emplacements, I believe. Pointed toward the sky, and then they would shoot down anything that tried to bomb the Sioux Locks.
Hey, Claiborne.
So yeah,
Welcome.
Rako Field, and I'm gonna go walk on the airfield. Rako Airfield is an imposing sight.
Oh no, I
It's
accepted
easily
the
visible
duel. I don't know why I
today
didn't
from high
run,
altitude, and is
Chopper.
still listed on aviation sectionals as a visual reference due to its massive size. The airfield was a typical auxiliary field with 3 runways, more than a mile long, 300 foot wide, and arranged as a triangle. Even though it's been closed to aircraft for decades, I'd have no problem landing my aircraft on the tarmac today. As a military base, Rako had an evolution from auxiliary airfield to anti-aircraft battery missile defense site. Today, Rako lives on as the Smithers Winter Test Center, an automotive testing facility for harsh winter conditions. All of Rayco's military buildings have been razed and the Beaumark missile launchers are gone, but the massive tarmac, taxiways, and gun pads are still easily visible.
I accepted it once. Let me try again.
So it's a taxiway. We're about to enter the runway that is to the west, northwest of the triangle. Flat part of the triangle is straight that way, where M28 is. So to hike around this runway, it'd take you about an hour. It is 3 miles around approximately. It's a great surface to land on.
Run. There it goes.
That's what it was designed for, Charlie.
So
roll to 1, your first roll.
We've been here longer than 30 seconds. I just don't know if it's active. Is it active? Is it active?
It's not winter, so I think we're safe.
Apparently it's the halfway point.
So we finished exploring the west side of the airfield where the anti-aircraft emplacements and original airfield buildings were. Then we took the Forest Service Road to the east side to explore the Beaumark missile area.
So yeah, you know, it's the UP, so you can try to block off roads and stuff and put rocks in the way and trees, but they'll just find a way around it, guys. Come on. We play this game. If you're gonna do something, you gotta be serious about it, like booby traps or something. So now we're on the east side of the field in an area where the Beaumark missiles used to be. Today it's a test track, and I believe that this these staked areas in the wintertime, maybe it gets iced over and then they come out and test vehicles on curve or rounded tracks. But you can see way over there, there's a structure that shows a road pavement going straight down. And the road that we came in is actually blocked, but we are in the UP, so we went around the rocks because they built a path around it. So back in the day, I don't know how many Beaumark missiles, but we'll try to put it in the video over here. But back in the day, the Beaumark missiles used to open like a kind of like a clamshell, but sideways. So they would open the doors, and then the missile would stand up, and it was actually an unguided, or it was an unpiloted aircraft at the time, so that the Air Force could have it instead of the Army, because the Army did missiles. But anyways, they would stand up. And I guess the doors took 4 seconds to open. Maybe it was 10 seconds, something like that, but it was amazingly fast. The missiles would be ready to launch within 90 seconds. And the ones here had nuclear warheads, because once you launch them at B-52, or not B-52s, but Russian Bear bombers coming in, a nuclear missile would take out the whole fleet as opposed to just one. This is what's left, just some scrub pine, some wooden stakes, some mowed grass for testing of vehicles in the wintertime, I guess. So that in a nutshell is Rayco Field. So let's go check out this Sault Ste. Marie radar station. And we are on our way to the 753rd Radar Squadron base near Sault Ste. Marie. That base and the radar that is on that base actually control the Beaumark missiles, and were an early warning for any aircraft that were coming to the Soo Locks, or really anywhere in North America at that point. My father, my old man, was actually a radar operator for the 753rd at this station, and I actually lived in Kinchel Air Force Base. So we're gonna go check out his old stomping grounds, take some pictures, and see if he cares anymore. All right then. So we are on Radar Road, and you can actually see from the overpass, the freeway, the old radar tower. So looks like we still got the old guard shack here. Looks like maybe somebody lives there now.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Missile. Really? Got the leg lamp. I believe this is the FPS 35 radar here. And right next to it is the FPS 3 radar. In a maintenance shed. So back in the day, this base started as, at least when my old man got here in the early 70s, ACNW, which is Aircraft Control and Warning, I believe.
You gonna be
So
driving
they had
anymore
many
today,
different
Claiborne?
models of radars on this site, and this being one.
It looks like it's now run by
So you want to
AT&T.
know you're heading into a bad area.
Use it. There's some modern equipment
streaming.
in the corner behind the bushes. There's an extension cord running from the generator, the housing development, so that's curious. But yeah, this is the feature that you can see from the road. It looks like we have a Yagi antenna way up there, directional antennas. Still got the windows. And hey, this is pretty insane. It's a damn federal crime to enter. And the lock's broke. This was headquarters right here. And there used to be a water tower back there, but there's a gravel pit that is literally dug right up to these buildings.
There you go.
So, and it looks like it's the same exterior maybe that they had. I don't know. Weird.
Up over 1,000.
The door's open.
That office has a crooked eye. Oh, they're playing in Tampa. I don't know. Ooh, face mask. They're not gonna call it. A later one tonight. I don't want to sit down and watch the Lions game.
Kinross Air Force Base in northern Michigan becomes Kinchlow Air Force Base in honor of Captain Ivan C. Kinchlow, Jr., who lost his life in an aircraft accident in 1958. On hand at ceremonies honoring the Korean jet ace and outstanding test pilot are the captain's widow, Mrs. Dorothy Kinchlow, and his mother and father. Captain Kinchlow, who died at age 30, filled with glory his 8 years as an Air Force pilot. In September 1956, he was at the controls of the rocket-powered X-2 when it set an altitude record of 126,000 feet, a record which still stands for manned aircraft.
So there is where I lived, 92 Kinchlow Road Drive, I guess. Right on that side, number 2. Little stairs to the basement. I remember playing basketball and breaking my nose and the neighbors. And then the only other memory I have of that place is the mailman. I was out in the front yard there with a garden hose goofing around, and he wanted a drink, so I gave him a drink. It was a hot summer day, and he goes, it tastes a lot like 7-Up. And I'm like thinking to myself as a 3 or 4 year old, it doesn't taste anything like 7-Up. It tastes like water. What a weirdo. So that was my memory. And I remember over that way a big smoke plume from something going on. These trees were much smaller, and the snowbanks here
were a lot bigger. But yeah, your standard base housing, you got the church back there. There were a bunch of movie theaters. It was kind of a nice place to grow up. Great schools. So when the base finally closed down, Chippewa County formed a committee to decide what to do with the base, and then the government gave the base to the government and the committee, and they lost 10,000 jobs.
Oh yeah?
When the base closed, and they did an excellent job of replacing the economic benefit of the base with enough economic benefit to be 3 times what the base used to provide. And there's a lot of industry now in some of the old buildings, the Chippewa County Airport. You got your gas stations and 5 correctional facilities. So there's 5 prisons here. We're coming up on one right now. We're gonna go check out the airport airfield where the B-52s used to hang out and do B-52 things.
Hey, here's no name Coder's
same segmented circle
URL.
And light that was there many years ago. The light used to flash 2 white lights and a green light at night to let aircraft know where the location was. Now it's 1 light, 1 white, 1 green. Over there we have the B-52 sheds or hangars, where they used to keep the B-52Hs, and they used to do B-52 things there. Now American Fabricant and a variety of other companies are there. Throughout all these buildings, just a bunch of different companies, kind of an industrial park now. Got the Avgas and the Jet A for all the civilian crafts, and then the brand new terminal over there. The runway is pretty massive. In fact, they only use about, I don't know, 3/5 of the airfield, and the rest is threshold, a very long threshold, because they can't, they don't want to maintain the entire airstrip, which they don't really have any aircraft large enough to land there anymore. Definitely a modern little airport. It's serviced by Delta and KLM. So back in the day, right here, we're at the section of the airfield, the Christmas tree ready area. And if you drove by here back in the 1960s and 70s, you'd see a huge tail of a B-52 sticking up right here, because they used to keep them on the flight line so that they were ready within, I think it was 15 minutes, they could take flight to go bomb our enemies in Soviet Russia. So the ordnance magazines are now kept at a tree farm with a gate. Used to be you can drive right up to them, but road that leads to them. You can see one of the ECMs, earth covered magazines, coming up. So an earth covered magazine was designed to take the blast of another earth covered magazine having an accidental fire and explosion. So the blast doors weren't built for enemy bombardment, but rather your own ordnance going off in a magazine nearby. I think there's 4 or 5 here. Ventilation, perhaps.
Yeah, I got
so usually they stored nuclear weapons on the aircraft. But yeah, maybe they stored some in here. It doesn't seem like they'd be designed for such a thing. Is everybody clear? Okay.
Friends and Codes live now too. Dogs are getting hungry. So, yeah, into this video, I'm going to end it, and then we'll come back later on for some poker and some Sunday evening adventures in .coins. Oh, he dropped
So
it.
yeah, sure they used to keep some explosive stuff to destroy your enemy. Lasted a couple decades, and then they're like, then they couldn't wait to get rid of the properties. They're moving on to some other kind of war-like thing. Just cool. Gotta go to war. The military adventure war complex. Yeah, I got a lot of adventure in the military for sure. It's where Santa Claus would enter the Ordnance magazine.
You're welcome, brother. Looks like I lost the heist.
It looks like Class B explosives were in here. These little boxes keep people out. I think this is under civilian use right now. Anyways, under civilian use. Storing stuff in these. Pretty cool nonetheless. And all around throughout the Kinchlow site, and no doubt.
Yeah, when I shut it down, if the chat continues, I think it'll let you continue to play
for things like PFAS, which have been here for quite a while. The wells have to test for that kind of thing. They take samples every once in a while. I forget, but there's got to be at least 100.
Yeah, I remember
100 of these test wells, sample wells around. So yeah, they've been monitoring them. I think since the base closed, just to make sure that it doesn't affect the groundwater, but obviously it does. Parade ground flag, I assume.
I turned the car off before I stopped the stream,
Be a
so
rock
it just went
somewhere
into a
dedicated to Ivan
spiral.
Kinchlow, the man with whom this base is dedicated for.
Ivar's getting yelled at.
They don't even fly the flag anymore, so there's that. One of the mysteries that actually took a lot of research is finding out where the dedication stone was for Ivan Kinchlow. He had a stone dedicated to him here on Kinchlow, and I thought it would be by the parade ground, but it's not.
No.
It's just kind of out in some
Not quite yet.
alley.
Getting close.
In the middle, just kind of by itself, kind of sort of taken care of, so we're going to go check it out. We do have flags flying. Of course, Kinross Cheddar Township gets a plaque. And of course, the standard veterans plaque, and then the sergeant gets a plaque. Sergeant Griffin, killed in action in Afghanistan. And the general veterans plaque. But here was the stone dedicated, I believe it was in the 50s, to Ivan Kinchlow. He was born in Cassopolis, Michigan. And he was the first pilot to go in the I believe it was the X2, to go above 10,000 or 100,000 feet. Made it to 126,000 and some odd feet. And they called him the first spaceman because of it. He died in a plane crash. So this stone is commemorating the man that the Kinchlow Air Force Base is named after. Ivan Carl Kinchlow. It's by the Fraternal Order of Orioles. I don't know what that is. Marv says it's a cover for the Sioux Mafia. We got the Charter Township Hall and then the Sioux Co-op Credit Union. I just kind of lost in time, I guess. At least they kept it here. They don't clean it. They don't seem to maintain it. So kind of sad, but it was the Cold War. If you go to the Soviet Union, things are a lot worse. And here's a time capsule. I'll be darned. Junior officers put it together in 1976. The United States bicentennial, and on July 4th of 2076, 100 years, you can open the time capsule and see what's in there. That's crazy. And of course the milkweed growing in front of it. I guess for the monarch butterflies. That makes you happy, doesn't it?
Sure does.
So I wonder if they'll remember that this is here when the year rolls around 2076. Does somebody have it in their Google Calendar to alert them to open this thing? That's crazy. I doubt it'll be open.
Chopper's a killer at duels.
They have built things in the past that last forever.
I know. So the stone's already coming off. Hasn't been maintained or repaired, so they're expecting this dang thing to last another 56 years. I think we should open it now and see what's in there. Bunch of junior officers, they probably put really dumb stuff in there. They're lieutenants. Probably a compass that they can't use, a map they can't read. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if this even lasts another 50-some years, 56 years. So this park's kind of a testament to how things are, how life works. We think what, in the time that we're here, that the things that we think important are always going to be important. And people to take care of these grounds don't care as much as maybe the Air Force did at one time, or the people that placed it. And now they're burdened with taking care of something that just doesn't really
2 seconds,
matter.
Cheers.
It's a measure of memories
Get right back in.
to those that served here, but they're in their 80s now. Those that are still around. There's a time capsule, 100 years. You can open it in 100 years, but
nice roll.
Who knows if anybody will remember it's here in 100 years. So that's life.
All right, guys. I'm gonna wrap it up for now. We'll be back later. We'll do the outro.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that. I think she's feeling me, turn it up a few degrees. My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's such a tease, bitten lips, bruised knees. I'm addicted to her, need her touching me, cause she got a bad little waist. And we tearing down this place, off the liquor that we chase. Casamigos to the face, baby, I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on that tight frame. All game, no shame, baby came here to play. I feel like an addict cause she's sex, drugs, cocaine. Got a fine little body and her mind's kinda naughty. They say that once you taste it, you cannot replace it. She could get you high, all the dopamine inside triggers fast once she's naked. Her body's a creation. They say the devil made her for his entertainment, but even he couldn't learn how to contain it. Her high heels girls make a damn good statement. There is no replacement, a body by Satan. She got a bad little waist, and we tearing down this place. Off the liquor that we chase, Casamigos to the face. Baby, I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on her tight frame. All game, no shame, baby came here to play. I feel like an addict cause she's sex, drugs, cocaine.